All right, we are live. So, what do we got going on, Paula?
So I'm going to get this guy started tonight.
The second Dragonborn Sorcerer. Oh, look, Cameron is first again. I feel like we need to give him a prize.
This is kind of blurry.
It's because you're holding it up close and it's set up so you can paint it where you normally would. See, the autofocus is off.
Okay. Sorry.
That's what you always want me to do, see?
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're going to paint this guy, this Dragonborn Sorcerer. We did his buddy over here. He comes in a
can move it out.
2-pack. So you get like this 2-pack from WizKids. And it was this guy who we already went through and painted. And so now we're just going to paint his friend. And we said I was going to do him in a black cloak.
Black and pink.
And it's going to
mostly black, pink accents,
pink
and then
details,
red.
And then he's going to be a red dragon.
Yes.
So that's something I do not usually do. I do not usually do a lot of black, like all black.
And so you said it was really going to be gray so you can get some shading.
Yes.
Is what you said.
So it's really going to be dark gray. That's true.
We're happy to have you again, Cameron. It looks like you are number 1 again. So make sure, if you guys are checking this out for the first time, you smash that subscribe button, hit that like button, and if you like seeing these videos, and you want to see more, and you want us to get some cooler miniatures or whatever, head on over to our Patreon. You can back it at the $5 level. I think there's 2 levels right now. We're thinking about adding another, but there's like there's a $1 level and a $10 level. So the $10 level is to allow us to do one-on-one chats with you if you're interested, to help you with your games, things like that. But otherwise, if you just want to show some love, $1 a month is pretty awesome. So I don't normally plug my Patreon, but we've been looking to buy more things, more Pathfinder books, more miniatures, and so anyway, we can kind of supplement that and bring you more content. That's kind of what we're going for. So hope everyone's having a good night. It is Saturday. I am exhausted. It's been a day.
Yeah.
The in-laws came over.
Kids were in rare form today. Well,
it was hot, and we forced you go ahead first.
So my parents have been down south for this entire coronavirus thing. We live in Michigan. So my parents have been down in like Arizona during coronavirus. They just decided they would come home, and so we were trying to do like social distancing get together, but also our kids are 9, 5, and 1.5. So, not the easiest age range for following instructions.
We had a plan that did not work. It was doomed from the start. But the idea was that we were going to block in our back porch with our furniture, which was a great idea, but the door was locked to the slider, so we were stuck, and the kids could not sit still, so they had to go in and out, and they had to go by the in-laws, and so there was no distancing whatsoever. It was just a mess.
Well, I mean, it was not a normal get-together. Like, no. But
there was no social distancing between the kids and
anybody. Was not,
and the kids were bored. It's like we would tell them to go play, but they would not want to go play. But then they were bored that they had to sit there. And it's like, well, what do you want? So it was this very stressful day. So if you don't have kids, that is what it's like having kids. Telling them to do something, they don't listen. But then the thing they're doing, they complain about. So it's a lose-lose situation. And it was 90 degrees. It was hot. And there were a crap ton of mosquitoes. And our family's very sweet.
Yeah, we're favorites in the Mosquito Club.
Yes. So anyways, we've got a session 0 for a Pathfinder one-shot in the morning.
Yeah, 10 a.m. because that's probably the best idea. Also with kids, I feel like we're like masochists or something like that.
Why? It'll be fine because it won't matter.
We're just like, yeah, we're gonna social distance with family with our kids. It'll be fine.
Tomorrow won't matter. You're gonna be in your room. You're gonna shut the door, and you're gonna shut the door to the bedroom, just like if you were working. Lily's gonna take Gabe up to her room, and then this is why it's at 10 before lunch. And then I'm gonna come out here. And so it's going to be fine. Lily's in charge of keeping Gabe from coming to your room and crying and screaming. They can watch TV, play video games, whatever. It'll be great. It'll be great. So anyways, so we're doing that. We're going to figure out which one-shot adventure we're going to do. It's supposed to be a 4-hour game. It's going to go from 8 till midnight the second Saturday of July, the 11th, I believe. And so tonight, we were going to talk about what Paula was going to play. Now, I don't know what I'm going to play. I think I'm going to play a fighter. I'm going to give that a shot. And I'm not sure which ancestry and background yet, but that's okay. I hear the fighter's awesome, so I want to try it. And if it's awesome, I want that to be the first class I'm going to play. Paula, I think the other day was looking at sorcerers, but now she's more interested in hearing about the druid.
Yeah, well...
Do you have an ancestry you're interested in?
I don't know.
It's just the top left here, pretty much.
Let's see.
Plus the half orc and half elf.
Maybe, you know what? Let's go. Oh, let's hear some stuff about halflings, because I feel like they don't get a lot of love.
Halflings get a ton of love. Gnomes don't get love. All right, so we'll look at the halfling first.
Oh, should I play a gnome sorcerer like I did?
No, please no. No.
Just kidding.
No. Gnome.
Okay. Like Gabe now.
Well, yeah, duh. So Cameron says, how goes it? I'm stoked to see a Dragonborn get painted. Next 5e game I play, I'm probably going to play a Dragonborn.
Ooh,
so we painted a Dragonborn.
What class are you going to be?
He's probably going to be a sorcerer. No. A druid. No. All right. So here's what's up. Halflings. They get 6 hit points. They're small. They get 25 foot movement per action. Ability boosts are dexterity, wisdom, free. Ability flaw is strength. So strength would be a -2. Languages are common in halfling. Additional languages equal to your intelligence modifier. If it's positive, choose from Dwarven, Elven, Gnomish, Goblin, and any other languages to which you have access, such as the languages prevalent in your region. Traits: halfling, humanoid. Keen eyes. Your eyes are sharp, allowing you to make out small details about concealed or even invisible creatures that others might miss. You gain a +2 circumstance bonus when using the seek action to find hidden or undetected creatures within 30 feet of you. When you target an opponent that is concealed from you or hidden from you, reduce the DC of the flat check to 3 for a concealed target or 9 for a hidden one. Ugh. Okay. Halfling heritages. Living across the land, halflings of different heritages might appear in regions far from... There's just a typo. Far from their ancestors.
So you don't have to read.
Choose one of the following halfling heritages
word
at
for
first
word.
level. Yeah, I do.
Just
and I didn't
summarize.
read everything. No, because then it's quiet. Because I'm reading in my head and I'm slower than you, and then I read it or tell you, and it's just better if I read it.
Oh, okay.
So, gutsy halfling. Your family line is known for keeping a level head and staving off fear when the chips were down, making them wise leaders and sometimes even heroes. When you roll a success on a saving throw against an emotion effect, you get a critical success instead. Okay. Hillock halfling. Accustomed to a calm life in the hills, your people find rest and relaxation, especially replenishing, particularly when indulging in creature comforts. When you regain HP overnight, add your level to the hit points regained. When anyone uses the medicine skill to treat your wounds, you can eat a snack to add your level to the hit points you regain from the treatment.
That's awesome. You get hit point bonuses from snacks.
From eating while having medicine done to you. Nomadic halfling. Your ancestors have traveled from place to place for generations, never content to settle down. You gain 2 additional languages of your choice, chosen from among the common and uncommon languages available to you. And every time you take the multilingual feat, you gain another new language. So if you want a bunch of languages, that one's cool. Twilight halfling. Your ancestors performed many secret acts under the concealing cover of dusk, whether for good or ill, and over time they developed the ability to see in twilight, beyond even the usual keen sight of halflings. You gain low light vision. Wildwood halfling. You hail from deep in a jungle or forest, and you've learned how to use your small size to wriggle through undergrowth, vines, and other obstacles. You ignore difficult terrain from trees, foliage, and undergrowth. So that's all of them. Wildwood actually is very thematic for a druid.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
So then at first level, you would get your ancestry feat. Because I'm assuming we're playing only first level. Who knows? You might have us level up. Before I get into those, Cameron says, how do combat maneuvers work in Pathfinder 2e? Like trip, shove, stuff like that. I want to play a divination wizard. So,
for his Dragonborn.
Yeah, so I'm not into wizards, so I'm sorry to hear that. I just think they're vanilla. And remember, vanilla is a flavor. It's just not my favorite. So how do combat maneuvers work? So, like you have different things in 5e, for example, that grant you the ability to do that. Like Battlemaster has different things they can do. In this, you would select a feat that would give you that ability. There's martial classes that give you some abilities right off the start. So, for example, not everybody can use a shield to block, and blocking is one of your 3 actions on your turn. Or raising shield is one of your 3 actions. The other thing is not everyone gets an attack of opportunity in this game. So, basically the martial classes get it. Most of them get it at like first level. Like a fighter gets that at first level. I think a rogue gets it at a later level, but something like a wizard I don't think ever gets it, for example. So a lot of those maneuvers are built into feats that you take. Now you get your class feats at every even number level, I think. You get racial or ancestry feats every 5th level, I believe, or every 4th level. So that's how you do it. You basically, every level, you're picking some new stuff to add to your character, whether it's skills or more feats or whatever. And so that's where you would get it from, and that's how you would do it. So yeah. With that, first level feats for a halfling.
You can tell me the first level feats quickly.
Yeah. I will. There's no.
I feel like, just give me a couple of them, because so far, not hooked on the halfling. So, we might just want to skip, go to something different.
Okay.
So.
Interesting.
Give me the first couple.
You didn't like the Wildwood halfling?
No, I mean.
What is it that's not appealing to you?
Well, I don't know. There's just nothing there that stands out that I'm like, oh, yeah. A
lot of your ancestors don't give you a ton of oh, yeah. In this.
Oh, okay.
I mean, not that I see. This is where you would get it from. So. When I did my goblin, the only thing that really stood out to me was the hardy one, the one that got 10 hit points rather than 6, because it fit for my barbarian.
Right, exactly.
So that's why I was like, ooh, the Wildwood halfling would fit perfect for your one. Or you could do the one that likes to eat. And then you give yourself a good berry while you're getting medicine, and then you get a hit point from good berry, and then you get another hit point because you're eating, and then you get whatever medicine does. I don't know. All right, I don't even know if Goodberry's in this. All right, so first level, Distracting Shadows. You have learned to remain hidden by using larger folk as a distraction to avoid drawing attention to yourself. You can use creatures that are at least one size larger than you as cover for the hide-and-seek actions, though you still can't use such creatures as cover for other uses, such as take cover. Halfling Lore. You dutifully... That's not going to be interesting. Halfling Luck. There you go. It's your built-in feat. Your happy-go-lucky nature makes it seem like a misfortune avoids you. And to an extent, that might even be true. You can re-roll the triggering check, but you must use the new result, even if it's worse than your first roll. So in other words, you always have advantage. Oh no, once per day. So you can do that once per day. So it's basically like having lucky ones.
Yeah.
So it's not quite as powerful as lucky from the other game. Halfling weapon familiarity. You favor traditional halfling weapons, so you've learned how to use them more effectively. You have the trained proficiency with the sling, halfling sling staff, and short sword. In addition, you gain access to all uncommon halfling weapons. For you, martial halfling weapons are simple weapons, and advanced halfling weapons are martial weapons. Sure feet. Whether keeping your balance or scrambling up a tricky climb, your hairy, calloused feet easily find purchase. If you roll a success on an acrobatics check to balance or an athletics check to climb, you get a critical success instead. You're not flat-footed when you attempt to balance or climb. Titan Slinger. You have learned how to use your sling to fell enormous creatures. When you hit on an attack with a sling against a larger creature, increase the size of the weapon damage die by 1 step. Details of increasing weapon damage die sizes can be found on page 279. So basically, if it's like a D6, it becomes a D8, basically.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, sorry, but I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Unfettered Halfling. Hang on, before I do that, let's change that. Live chat. There we go. Much better. Okay. Sorry about that. Unfettered Halfling. You were forced into service as a laborer, either pressed into indentured servitude or shackled by the evils of slavery, but you've since escaped.
Pass.
Okay. Watchful Halfling. Your communal lifestyle causes you to pay close attention to the people around you, allowing you to more easily notice when they act out of character. Gain a +2 circumstance bonus to perception checks when using the sense motive base action to notice enchanted or possessed characters. If you aren't actively using sense motive on an enchanted or possessed character, the GM rolls a secret check. In addition to using blah, 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 blah. Any of that sound interesting?
Nope, let's move on. Let's talk about elves.
Elves? Oh my gosh.
Oh, I know.
Nobody plays elves. Nobody likes elves. All right, so they get 6 hit points, medium. They move 30 feet.
Yep.
Dex and intelligence and a free action are their boosts.
Okay.
Constitution is their flaw.
Ooh, okay.
It's common though. Languages common and elven. Traits elf humanoid, and they get low light vision.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Elf heritages. There's Arctic, Cavern, Seer, Whisper, and Woodland. Now, if you're gonna play a druid, what kind of druid are you gonna play?
I don't know. Great question. Let's read Woodland first.
Okay, that's the last one. So, you're adapted to life in the forest or the deep jungle, and you know how to climb trees, and you use foliage to your advantage. When climbing trees, vines, and other foliage, you move at half your speed on a success, and at full speed on a critical. So, basically, not 5% of the time, because it doesn't work that way in this. But if you roll 10 over the DC, and you move at full speed on a success if you have quick climb. This doesn't affect you if you're using a climb speed. You can always use the take cover action when you are within forest terrain to gain cover. Even if you're not next to an obstacle, you can take cover behind.
Okay. What was the cavern one?
Okay. That's what it was. Cavern elf. You were born or spent many years in an underground tunnels or caverns where light is scarce.
Nope.
You gain dark vision. Okay.
What were the other choices?
Seer, Whisper,
Ooh,
Arctic.
What's seer?
You have an inborn ability to detect and understand magical phenomena. You can cast the Detect Magic cantrip as an arcane innate spell at will. A cantrip is heightened to a spell level equal to half your level rounded up. In addition, you gain a +1 circumstance bonus to checks to identify magic and to decipher writing of a magical nature. These skill actions typically use the Arcana, Nature, Occultism, or Religion skill. Again, you're not going to get like a, ooh, amazing from these. You get like one thing.
Yeah, what were the other sections?
What do you mean?
What were the other types? Like sea and...
Whisper and Arctic. That's it.
Okay, whatever. What are the first level feats?
You sure you don't want the Whisper one?
Next.
You don't even know what the Whisper does.
What does the Whisper do? Tell me what the Whisper does.
Your ears are finely tuned, able to detect even the slightest whispers of sound. As long as you can hear normally, you can use the seek action to sense undetected creatures in a 60-foot cone instead of a 30-foot cone. You also gain a +2 circumstance bonus to locate undetected creatures that you could hear within 30 feet with the seek action. In other words, it's harder for things to sneak up on you, whether they're invisible or not.
Yeah, okay, so what's the feats at first level?
Man, you are like really poo-pooing on these, aren't you?
No,
It's just nothing exciting. It's the same stuff you say about a lot of stuff. There's nothing exciting. Well, what's exciting to you? You don't have anything that's exciting. Like, whenever I've asked you, you're like, nothing. There's nothing exciting. I don't know what you're waiting and expecting to happen. You're expecting to magically be blown away by these D20 fantasy systems that have been the same for 50 years. Like... There you go, Paizo. There's your ringing endorsement. It's nothing exciting. All right.
Shut up. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, you know.
Don't worry. She says it about that other D20 system that's extremely popular as well.
No, I don't know. I'm just like waiting for something new.
To knock your socks off.
Yeah, like
there's
waiting
nothing.
For something cool to happen.
No, that's not how these things work anymore. Like, well, they never did work that way. But like in this especially, it's more of you get like multiple things you can do and you need to like create synergy between them. That's the point.
I know.
Yeah.
I got it.
That's what knocks your socks off when it's like, oh yeah, that thing with this thing over here and this thing. Now it's cool. Kind of like with my Warlock, right? The Warlock, it was, ooh, I can cast magical darkness, but I can use that devil sight, and that's the only way anything in the whole freaking game can see in the magical darkness. That's badass. Oh, and I'm just going to use a really cool bonded Pact to the Blade weapon to shank them through the back of their kidneys and out their gut. Awesome.
Okay.
Synergy.
Okay, I'm synergizing right now. I'm working on it.
Ancestral.
I'm working on it.
In other words, so far the woodland one would probably be the best for the druid. Just like before, the other wood halfling thing would have been the best to go with it, that you can slink around. See, Cameron's laughing. See, we're doing something right. Ancestral longevity. You have to be at least 100 years old. That's a prerequisite. You have accumulated a vast array of lived knowledge over the years. During your daily preparations, you can reflect upon your life experiences to gain the trained proficiency rank in one skill of your choice. This proficiency lasts until you prepare again. Since this proficiency is temporary, you can't use it as a prerequisite for a skill increase or a permanent character option like a feat. So that's basically like that fighter thing I told you about, where every day you get to prepare a new thing that you don't have. Mm-hmm. That's basically that for a skill.
That's kind of cool,
yeah,
actually.
It is.
It is really cool.
It's very situational, but it allows you control over it. Like today, I know we're going to be rock climbing. I better take athletics. And tomorrow, I know we're going to be freaking in a wizard's tower, so I should probably take Arcana. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that is kind of cool. Elven lore. You've studied in traditional elven arts, learning about arcane magic and the world around you. You gain the trained proficiency rank in Arcana and Nature. If you would automatically become trained in one of those skills from your background or class, for example, you instead become trained in a skill of your choice. You also become trained in Elven lore. Sudra Havran. Welcome, buddy. Glad to have you. Tonight we're trying to help Paula narrow down some ancestries and classes for some Pathfinder 2nd Edition for a one-shot we have coming up. And she's painting a red Dragonborn Sorcerer in a black cloakish robe thingy, ceremonial gown, I don't know, that's going to have some pink accents. It's going to be great.
It's going to be good.
Elven weapon familiarity. You favor bows and other elegant weapons. You are trained with longbows, composite longbows, longswords, rapiers, short bows, and composite short bows. In addition, you gain access to all uncommon elf weapons.
Next.
Really? Oh, okay. That's pretty sweet that you could get composite bows, but I'm just saying. Forlorn. Watching your friends age and die fills you with moroseness that protects you against harmful emotions. You gain a +1 circumstance bonus to saving throws against emotion effects. If you roll a success on a saving throw against an emotion effect, you get critical success instead. Nimble Elf. Your muscles are tightly honed. Your speed increases by 5 feet. Otherworldly magic. Your elven magic manifests as a simple arcane spell, even if you aren't formally trained in magic. Choose one cantrip from the arcane spell list. You can cast this cantrip as an arcane innate spell at will. A cantrip is heightened to a spell level equal to half your level, rounded up. Unwavering Mean? M-I-E-N. I don't know what that says. Mean. Your mystic control and meditations allow you to resist external influences upon your consciousness. Whenever you are affected by a mental effect that lasts at least 2 rounds, you can reduce the duration by 1 round. You still require natural sleep, but you treat your saving throws against effects that would cause you to fall asleep as 1 degree of success better. This protects only against sleep effects, not against other forms of falling unconscious. Any of those sound interesting?
Okay, so far I like the old one.
That's it?
With the skills.
That's it?
That's cool.
Okay.
I like that one.
So you'll probably go Ancestral Longevity, Woodland Elf, Druid. That was all the first level feats.
Maybe.
Okay. Do we care about backgrounds? Do you want me to just read the nature-y sounding ones?
Yeah. You know.
I mean, I've went over some of these already, but...
Something wood-like.
There's Acrobat. That's not really wood-like. That probably doesn't work. Animal Whisperer. You have always felt a connection to animals, and it was only a small leap to learn to train them. As you travel, you continuously encounter different creatures, befriending them along the way. Choose 2 ability boosts. 1 must be to Wisdom or Charisma, and 1 is a free ability boost. You're trained in the Nature skill and a Lore skill related to 1 terrain inhabited by animals you like, such as Plains Lore or Swamp Lore. You gain the Train Animal skill feat. Okay. Artisan, Artist, Barkeep, Barrister, Bounty Hunter, Charlatan, Criminal, Detective, Emissary, Entertainer, Farmhand, Field Medic, Fortune Teller, Gambler, Gladiator, Guard, Herbalist. There we go. As a formally trained apothecary or a rural practitioner of folk medicine, you learn the healing properties of various herbs. You're adept at collecting the right natural cures in all sorts of environments and preparing them properly. Choose 2 ability boosts. 1 must be to Con or Wisdom, and 1 is a free ability boost. You're trained in the Nature skill and the Herbalism Lore skill. You gain the Natural Medicine skill feat.
That might be a good one.
Yeah, it is a good one.
I like that one.
Hermit.
No.
Hunter. Probably not. Laborer, martial disciple, merchant, miner, noble, nomad. Traveling. Does that one sound interesting? Nomad.
Nope. I think I'll pass.
Prisoner, sailor, and scholar. So it sounds like the herbalist is probably the most interesting to you. Scout, street urchin, tinker, warrior.
Nope.
No, herbalist. Okay.
Nope.
All right. Okay, cool. What did I miss? Holy cow. Cameron said, hi, Raven. Who's Raven? Oh, well.
The Sudra is
He's Raven?
Raven.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They said, call me Raven.
Where?
In another video.
Oh, I don't remember. My bad. I'm terrible. Sudra says, sadly, I'm not staying here because I have to finish my seminar paper. I just wanted to take a break. Hey, no, break can't be over. You need to stay. Entertain us. No, I'm just kidding. Well, break is over. Bye. Do not forget, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell to receive notifications of new videos. So I hear the bell actually causes some people to unsubscribe. So don't hit the bell. I don't know if that's true. All right. So you are a elven woodland old herbalist. If you are curious, I believe you are not my seminar. What? I believe you are not my seminar paper is about neoliberalism and social work in England. Oh, okay, cool. You should do a video on it and share the video in the Discord.
That sounds interesting.
All right, pulling up the Druid. I don't know what neoliberalism is. Like new liberalism? Is that what that means? Like what liberalism is in 2020? 220? Is that what that means? Am I wrong? You don't know.
Well, I don't know. You saying that makes me question.
I mean, neo means new.
Yeah, but I think it was,
And I mean, in America, what we call liberal, and in other places, what they call liberal, are completely different. Here we go. Druid.
the 19th century, ideas associated with the laissez-faire economic liberalism and free market capitalism.
Okay. All right. So earlier, I did a flip-through video. It's about an hour and I don't know how many minutes, maybe 10 minutes, where I went through every page of this book. And there were some rants in that video.
Okay, so this is what I was going to say. I think neoliberalism started in like the late 20s or 30s.
Okay.
Was what I was going to say.
Well, it's not neo anymore.
That I was like, I'm not sure if that's correct or not, but it looks like, I don't know, a couple of things that it started in the 30s.
All right, cool.
Obviously, Raven knows.
Yeah, we're way off topic. So, bringing it back. So earlier today, I did a Pathfinder video where I went through this whole book, page by page. It was about an hour and, 10 minutes or so. And I had a couple rants. And these rants were something I picked up in something else. And I was like, oh, that does sound kind of stupid to me. And I will say, the Druid class just exaggerates this for me right now. It's not going to annoy you. It probably shouldn't annoy me because the rant in itself, what it's about, is something I don't care about anyway. But I'm just going to do it. So, initial proficiencies. Well, you get 8 hit points right off the bat from this. So with your elf being 6 and this, you're at 14 hit points.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. Continue on.
I know, but it matters. So that's why I'm saying it. It's for the viewers too. This isn't just for you.
Oh,
Let's
I'm
be
sorry.
real here. Let's be real.
My bad.
Let's be real. This isn't just for you, right? But
continue on.
You gain listed proficiency ranks in the following stats. You are untrained in anything not listed unless you gain a better proficiency rank in some other way. I don't know what the hell that means. I don't know what the need for that is. I mean, I feel like that's pretty straightforward. Like, you aren't trained in something unless it says you're trained in it, or better. All right.
I mean, clearly that's in there for a reason.
I mean, probably. So, perception. You are trained in perception. Saving throws. You are trained in fortitude. You are trained in reflex. But you are an expert in will saves.
Oh, that's cool.
Skills. You are trained in nature. Trained in one skill determined by your druidic order. Trained in a number of additional skills equal to 2 plus your intelligence modifier.
You guys, I'm sorry. I just need to complain about something for a second. This miniature is the epitome of can't get to 90% of the spaces in it. Like,
oh, I thought it left itself pretty open.
All the stuff underneath, all that needs to be painted in here.
Oh, yeah.
It's all impossible. It's all impossible. It's going to end up being a whole crap ton of black. Okay, cool. Moving on. I just needed to say that.
It won't matter. Nobody's looking under the skirt of a miniature when it's on the table.
You'd be surprised what people are doing, man.
Well, you might, because you might pick it up and be like, I want to see what's under the skirt. All right. Skills. Trained in nature, trained in... Yeah, I already went through that. Attacks. So here's the first gripe. You're trained in simple weapons. Okay, that's fine. You're trained in unarmed attacks.
Okay.
That's my gripe. That's gripe number 1. Defenses.
Why is that a gripe?
Hang on. We'll get to it. Defenses. You're trained in light armor.
Okay.
Trained in medium armor. You're trained in unarmored defense. Now, if
Y'all, I'm just waiting for it. Like, I
If-
don't know what he's about ready to go off
she
about.
has no idea,
But I can just tell by the tone of voice
I'm annoyed.
that we're going to hear about it for like the next 15 minutes.
I've already talked about it before, but I didn't go on about it.
Oh,
All right.
he's about to.
So,
Don't you worry. He's flipping through pages.
monks, the martial arts guys, unarmed attacks, what they're known for. They're just trained in unarmed attacks. A druid is equally as good as a freaking martial artist monk who's supposed to flurry punch, kick your ass up in the air before you touch the ground about 12 times. Like, that's stupid. That's so stupid. Unarmed attacks should be at least expert, in my opinion. Now, a monk does get expert in unarmored defense. But I still don't understand why so many classes, it feels like every single class is at least trained in unarmored defense. Doesn't make any freaking, like, what is the point then? If everyone's trained, then why even give that ability?
Are monks supposed to be different? Like, are they
They're
more
martial
like,
artists.
No, but I'm just saying, like, in Pathfinder, are they more like a samurai? Versus,
No.
like, a regular
No!
monk? Okay, well,
No.
like, I'm just asking, man.
They're Kung Fu guys.
You know what?
They are Kung Fu.
I'm just asking the questions.
Bruce Lee would be rolling over in his grave if he knew that he would be just a trained martial artist. But everybody else in Galarian was a trained martial artist. Everyone. Like, I don't know of a single class that's not trained in unarmed attacks and unarmed defense. Like, if I go back, let's see, Cleric, right? Cleric, trained in unarmored defense, trained in unarmed attacks.
So,
Champion.
like, do the
course it's the same.
monks get anything extra special
I'm
to,
sure
like,
they
offset
do.
that?
To
Or,
offset
like,
it, no. However, they totally get something different. I'm sure. Everything gets their feats that make them special. I just think it's dumb. All right.
You're just upset about it.
I just think it's dumb. That's all. I mean, again, I think it's a cool game. From what I've read, I don't understand what they were thinking with that. Like, why does your fighter need to be trained in unarmed attacks? Why does your champion? Why does your cleric? Why does your druid?
Because you
Why
can
are they
also
running
punch
around
somebody.
barehanded? Yeah, but you don't need to be trained in it. You still can do it. You don't have to be trained to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about trained giving you a +2 bonus to do these things. Why should a druid be given a bonus to punch something or kick something? Why should a bard? Why should a sorcerer? Why should a wizard? Why are all of them able to punch and kick something
Well, I don't think
at the same ability as a monk? They're all trained.
I don't know that a sorcerer and a wizard should, but I feel like I don't know.
A druid's supposed to be peaceful.
Like a fighter could do that too.
So Cameron said, not looking up the skirt, you misjudge lonely nerds. We don't have lonely nerds in this house. And actually, most of the people we play with are married. So I don't know if they need to look up skirts. And,
It's true.
I mean, Luke does ask what every single female character's charisma score is. So there's that. And then our kids play with the miniatures sometimes, but not the painted ones. So I don't know.
Yeah, they've been banned.
So, yeah, maybe. So then Cameron said, I think Bruce Lee would be rolling in his grave for exercise. Probably. He can 1-inch punch his way out of his grave. 1-inch punch. Yep. Okay. Back to druids, now that I'm done with that rant. Class DC. You're trained in primal spell attacks and primal spell DCs.
Need a smaller brush.
You probably don't care about initial proficiencies. Anathema.
Okay.
As stewards of the natural order, basically you don't use metal armor or shields. You don't believe in despoiling natural places. And teaching the druidic language to non-druids. All those things make you lose your powers, by the way. So you can't use metal armor or shields. You can use wooden ones and things like that.
Okay, that's not a big deal.
I think it's stupid, but that's just me. I liked that 5e got away from the stereotypes a little bit. You know? Like, I liked that, oh, your druid could pick up a metal weapon and use it, or could put on some, you know, a chain shirt, for example, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that. I don't like that all druids have to be hippie tree huggers.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess it just doesn't really bother me.
To me, it just doesn't make sense.
The only thing is that what I hate is when it seems like it's excessively restrictive for one class, but no other classes have those big restrictions on them. You know, but maybe in different areas. You know?
Maybe. The dreaded 1-inch punch. I used to be pretty good at those. Yeah? Were you a martial artist, Cameron? Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like it. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, at all. I understand the despoiling natural places. I also understand keeping the druidic language, like, within druids. You know what I mean? That makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, even if you decipher something that's in the druidic language, you will not share it with anybody, no matter what. Like, that's what it comes down to. You know? Which I think is interesting. All right, druidic orders. So you'll get spells based on this and things like that. So select druid feed. How many do you get? I don't want to read this because it's a lot. I'm trying to scan it. It looks like you get to pick between 4. So animal. Strong connection to beast. You are allied with a beast companion. You are trained in athletics. You gain a companion druid feat. You gain the heal animal order spell. Committing wanton cruelty to animals or killing animals unnecessarily is an anathema to your order. This doesn't prevent you from defending yourself against animals or killing them cleanly for food. Yeah, that makes sense. So that was the one where it's heavily focused on having a beast companion. Leaf.
Okay, you don't have to, like, so what kind of companions can you get?
I don't know. That's a whole nother section. Do you want me to go through the types here first before we go there?
Sure,
It'll just be
fine.
easier for me. So the other one is leaf. You revere plants and the bounty of nature. You act as a gardener and warden for the wilderness. Okay, here we go. You gain a Leshy familiar druid feat, which I'm assuming is like a plant familiar. You gain the Goodberry order spell. And you increase the number of focus points in your focus pool by 1. Committing wanton cruelty to plants or killing plants unnecessarily. Same thing as the animal thing. Don't kill them unless it's for food or survival.
Okay, cool.
I worked up to purple belt in Taekwondo, then spent a lot of time mixing other martial arts in on my own. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I did Choi Kwon-do for a while, and then in the Marines we did like a mixture of stuff in boot camp. That's about the extent of my training. It's really not anything that special for me. All right, Storm. You carry the fury of the storm. You are trained in acrobatics. You also gain the Stormborn Druid feat. You gain the Tempest Surge Order spell. That sounds cool. And you increase the number of focus points in your focus pool by 1, polluting the air or allowing those who cause major air pollution or climate shifts to go unpunished is anathema to your order. It sounds like you, like in real life. This doesn't force you to take action against merely potential harm to the environment or to sacrifice yourself against an obviously superior foe. So you still have limits. Wild. The savage, uncontrollable call of the natural wild infuses you, granting you with the ability to change your shape and take on ferocious form of a wild creature. You're trained in intimidation. You also gain the wild shape druid feat. You gain the Wild Morph Order spell. Becoming fully domesticated by the temptations of civilization is anathema to your order. This doesn't prevent you from buying and using processed goods or staying in a city for an adventure, but you can never come to rely on these conveniences or truly call such a place your permanent home. So yeah, that's definitely not you. I mean, it kind of is, except you are really against processed foods. I think the storm sounds the coolest personally. What do you think?
I think I want to know what kind of animal companions I could have.
Say that. There's nothing cool. Trust me. Trust me.
Why?
Because it's first level.
Well, I'm surprised we're playing first level if it's just a one-shot, first of all.
I'm not, because we're new to the system. We haven't decided level. We'll probably talk about it tomorrow. But if it sucks at first level, it's going to suck at other levels. All right. All right. Animal companions and familiars is a whole section. Badger. Bear. Bird. Cat. I don't know, some kind of dinosaur. Horse. Snake. Wolf. Those are your animal companions. Did any of those stand out to you? Were you even paying attention? You made me read it, and you weren't even paying attention.
No, I was listening.
What sounded interesting? It's just because you just looked over and saw it.
No, you said, like, badger.
All right, so a wolf can use a knockdown action. It can also bite, I think. Yeah, it can also bite. But one of its things is knockdown also. Your wolf tears tendons with each opening until the start of your next turn. What? Oh, jeez. Yeah, I'm not paying any attention to that. I never could do the tournaments because I don't like fighting. I'm more in it for the movement of energy and self-defense knowledge. I would totally do like tournaments. I think that'd be fun. But I have no problem fighting. I get angry pretty easy. That's probably, it's probably good I don't do trained fighting. Like someone hit me a low blow, I'm probably going to get mad. Who knows? If I was in awesome shape younger, maybe I would have been pretty good at that. Like maybe my anger would have helped. You know?
Probably.
Like I would have gotten farmer strength all of a sudden out of nowhere. All right, so you're thinking about doing that one, the animal one, and doing a wolf?
Yeah, maybe if you... I don't know what to do.
Just do what you think sounds fun.
What kind of druid spells do you get?
Oh my goodness. I don't know. And this is like, you're going for the hard stuff.
Sorry, let's talk about something else.
Let's finish. Well, we didn't even we got to go in order here.
Okay.
So, those were the types.
What were these ones?
Yeah, we're going to get there.
Oh,
the thing is, though, there's synergy between those and what you choose here. For example, Animal Companion as a first level feat would go great with the animal one. Leshy Familiar would go great with
the herbalism
leaf. And the leaf. I mean, herbalism is a standard thing.
What's this familiar?
That's it. That's Leshy. That's like plants.
But what's a plant familiar? Like, what do you get for that? Like, what kind of plant? Like, I
don't know, Venus flytrap or something.
What the hell does the plant do? Like, explain
You gain a
things.
Leshy Familiar, a tiny plant that embodies one of the many spirits of nature. Other than taking the form of a plant instead of an animal, this familiar uses all the same rules as other familiars, which are detailed on 217. So I got to go 100 pages into the future for this. The future.
You can do it.
No, it's a pain in the butt.
You can make it. I just I don't know.
So here we go.
I'm like touching wet paint over here. I got
Leshy.
Weird paint.
There's nothing here about Leshy.
No, it just says same as
Basically,
other
you
familiars.
take a familiar and you've got a plant for it.
Well, what am I supposed to do with a plant?
Exactly what you would use a normal familiar for.
Like,
you just
go.
Look.
Okay, y'all. I'm like, okay, here's Leshy, my familiar. Like, go scout ahead.
Yeah, it could though.
Go scout.
Yeah, it
Ready?
could.
Go.
Hey, I'm not the one that did this. So hang on. Okay, stop. I'm gonna read about familiars. I told you exactly what it says. But I'm gonna read Familiars are mystically bonded creatures tied to your magic. Most familiars were originally animals, though the ritual of becoming a familiar makes them something more. You can choose a tiny animal you want as your familiar, such as a bat, a cat, a raven, or snake. Some familiars are different, usually described in the ability that granted you a familiar. For example, a druid's leshy familiar is a tiny plant instead of an animal, formed from a minor nature spirit. Familiars have the minion trait, so during an encounter, they gain 2 actions in a round. If you spend an action to command them, if your familiar dies, you can spend a week of downtime to replace it at no cost. You can have only 1 familiar at a time. So there you go. Your plant can sit there still for 2 actions instead of 1.
What the fuck am I supposed to do with a plant?
You treat it exactly like you would a normal familiar. So animal companions, you have different ones. There's ambusher, bully, daredevil, racer, tracker, and wrecker. So an ambusher, in your companion's natural environment, it can use a sneak action even if it's currently observed. It gains a +2 circumstance bonus to initiative rolls using stealth. Its proficiency rank is stealth. In stealth increases to expert. At least I'm assuming this is right. I don't know. Let's go to page 634 for the minion trait. I don't know if that's going to matter.
Like, I'm just, you know...
So then, I mean, okay. No matter what, are you going to even use it, or am I just wasting my time treading my tires?
I mean...
Am I doing a burnout for no reason?
Like, it
Risking getting pulled over by the popo.
It sounds like it could be cool. That's all I'm
Look how far back I gotta go for this minion trait bull spit. Look it, I'm like one of the last pages for this. This is how pointless it is. Look, it's even after... Are you kidding me? Page 634 is not... What is it? The credits? 634.
What are you supposed to look
It's
at?
hidden in here. Hang on. What the hell is a minion trait? So wait. The book tells me to go to the minion trait that's hidden in the glossary and index. Minion trait. Minions are creatures that directly serve another creature. A creature with this trait can use only 2 actions per turn and can't use reactions. Your minion acts on your turn in combat once per turn. When you spend an action to issue it commands for an animal companion, you command an animal. For a minion that's a spell or magic item effect, like a summoned minion, you sustain a spell or sustain an activation. In other words, it doesn't matter. You basically just get stupid 2 actions. 2 basic actions.
Okay, but like, what can a plant do as an action?
Anything that any creature can do as a basic action.
So...
It can walk. It can talk. It can attack. It can whatever.
So it looks like a plant, but it like can move.
It's a spirit.
Like, it's a plant.
It's a spirit. It says it right here. It's a minor nature spirit.
Is this confusing to anybody else?
No,
I feel like this
it's not confusing. You're making it bigger than it is because you're distracted by the word plant. It's a leshy. It's not really a plant. It's a nature spirit. How about that? But basically, it looks like a plant.
Great, thank you. Okay, continue on.
What's hard to understand about that?
I don't know. I guess I was just...
We watched a whole documentary about tripping on acid and stuff. Imagine it like that. It's the plants talking to you. Okay? That's what it is. You're not even going to choose it. Like, why? Are you wasting my time?
Whatever, I might choose it.
No, you're not. Now you might because I've given you a hard time. And then you're going to be mad that you chose it. Because you're going to be like, it's a damn plant. What am I going to do with a plant? Ask the game master tomorrow.
Can I make it fly? Because it's a spirit?
No, it's
like,
not a basic action.
Yeah, but like it's sort of like if I had a bat, except it's just a plant and it flies. It's like a plant spirit.
You ask him. I'm not the game master. I don't give a damn. I would say no. I would say it's a plant. It ain't happening. I would not allow it.
Okay.
I would say if you want something that can fly, choose an animal and choose a fucking bat. That's what I would say.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Cameron says, I've seen a few depictions of leshies from RPG mythology. They're all different. LOL. That is so helpful.
Cameron.
That is the most helpful thing ever.
I'm glad you specified and told us that.
All right. So you get shield block at first level. So if you have a wooden shield, you can use that right away. So that's cool. Wild empathy. You have a connection to creatures of the natural world that allows you to communicate with them on a rudimentary level. You can use diplomacy to make an impression on animals and to make very simple requests of them. In most cases, wild animals will give you time to make your case. So you, no matter what, get that. So those are the things you automatically get. Now, at first level, you'll get 4 cantrips and 2 spells per day of first level.
Okay.
Druid feats. You get to choose 1 at first level. Animal companion. You gain the service of a young animal companion that travels with you on your adventures and obeys any simple commands you give it to the best of its abilities. See animal companions. Leshy familiar.
We already went over that. We already read that. We already read it.
Hang on. Reach spell, Stormborn, Widen spell, Wild shape. Those are the others. So reach spell is you can extend the range of your spells. Costs an action. Stormborn, you are at home out in the elements, reveling in the power of nature unleashed. You do not take circumstance penalties to ranged spell attacks or perception checks caused by weather, and your targeted spells don't require a flat check to succeed against a target concealed by weather, such as fog. Widen spell is exactly what it means. You can spread it out to affect a wider area. That's an action. And wild shape you can change.
I'm Googling Leshy.
Oh my gosh. Did any of those sound interesting?
The wild shape. I like wild shape.
Okay, so wild shape. Then you are one with the wild, always changing and adapting to meet any challenge. You gain the wild shape order spell, which lets you transform into a variety of forms that you can expand with druid feats. I think you should just go wild shape or storm.
You know what? I'm so glad I looked this up because it makes so much more sense now.
They're plants.
Like they're like.
That is not a leshy. That's a damn demon.
That.
It's a bone demon.
But then there's like, oh, it's a little plant creature.
Yeah, it's a twig blight.
And then there's like, oh, okay. It's like a little creature.
Yeah, it's a plant. Look at it.
It looks like a creature, though.
Well, what you expected a potted plant is my familiar?
Well, I don't know.
Especially when I say it can walk.
When I said
and probably talk.
When I pulled my leaf out of my water.
That's exactly what it looks like on their head and their hands and their fake. Why do you have a leaf in your water? What is going on here?
It's mint.
Oh, look at that mint. Jeez, oh, Pete, that's a lot of mint.
Well, this whole thing was full.
What is going on, guys? What is going on? Oh, my goodness.
Almost out of water.
All right, fine. I will look at spells. You want to know...
I like wild shape and animal companions.
I think you should go wild
stuff
all the way.
That. And so...
Do you want a leshy animal?
It's always fun. The leshy things sound cool. They look great.
They look great, but you don't know what they do.
No,
basically they do the same thing as the animal companions, which the animal companions you choose from the 5 things and apply it to your companion. That's why it doesn't list the animal companions either. It just says examples of them.
Yeah, I think it's
great. You take one of the 5 traits and then boom.
Little leshy things sound great. Also, wolf is cool.
Cool. All right, spells.
Guys.
Yeah, do wolf. Why would you not change? Why would you not be a wild shaper?
I don't know. I was just saying it sounded cool, man.
Okay.
Why are you so...
Stressing me out.
You're losing your cool over there.
Stressing me out. You gotta be stressing me out. Spells, you're gonna have to look stuff up. Look up Pathfinder Leshy. They're adorable. They have pumpkin leshies in Pathfinder 1. Whatever. So here's the cool thing. I have no idea what spells you get as a druid. So, because remember, it lists them all like weird. So I gotta go back to the druid class. That's cool.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
It just isn't what I'm used to. I don't know. I'm learning, guys. I'm learning. I'm so green. It's not even funny. Not that it would be funny if I wasn't green. Speaking of green, anyone got a green thumb? Speaking of plants. No? Okay, maybe that wasn't funny.
Yeah, that was really bad.
It was my delivery. My delivery sucked.
I mean, that's true.
All right, let's go through here. Let's figure out how spells work. Actually, you don't even get spells at first level.
Oh, really?
Doesn't look like it. Maybe you do. Primal spell casting. So where's primal spell casting? There it is. The power of the wild world flows through you. You can cast primal spells using cast spell activity, and you can supply when casting because you're you usually hold primal focus. You can prepare 2 first level spells, 5 cantrips. It says 5 cantrips, but the chart says 4. Oh, that's right. It is 5. I forgot that they fixed it in the errata. So the cantrips on the chart are wrong. I forgot about
okay.
that.
Cool.
That's right. Some of your spells require you to attempt a spell attack roll. Heightening spells, cantrips. Huh. Okay. Doesn't tell you which spells you get. So.
Doesn't tell you like where your spells come from?
No. Not yet. I think I have to find the spell chart. I think so. This is just regular spell lists by the schools or whatever, arcane and occult and junk. And spell descriptions. I don't know. I guess you can take any of those. I don't really know.
Super helpful.
It is freaking boring. My seminar paper, not this video. Hey Cameron, how are you doing today? I hope this video has been fun. We are debating leshies because, you know, they're so adorable, as Cameron thinks.
Look, I was just confused. I didn't understand exactly.
She didn't understand how an animal can, or a plant can act like an animal. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm trying to find a druid spell list, but I don't think it works that way. I think you just get any spells you want. I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I don't think that's right.
I don't think it's right either, but it didn't tell me what specific spells, unless you get them based on your choice, and it was just a couple things it mentioned. Oh, it did mention some stuff about focus spells, and focus spells are like Bard, Champion, Cleric. I don't think all your spells are focus spells, though. Hello, Raven. I'm doing well. Getting stoned and watching Pathfinder pairing bickering hour. Sutra says, my mom get up and started cleaning the dishes. It is 4 a.m. 4 a.m.? Doing dishes at 4 a.m. where you're at? That's crazy. That sounds like Paula.
I hope you're about to go to bed.
At 4 a.m.? Sounds like he's waking up for the day to do his paper. All right, druids. Goodberry. Heal animal. I did find a couple more spells that work like heal, by the way.
Oh, okay.
So actually, this one kind of works like that. Heal animal is 1 or 2 actions. If you do 1, it's a touch spell. If you do 2, it's a 30-foot range and does 8 additional hit points if the creature's living. And if it's heightened, which is a +1, the amount of healing increases by 1d8, and the additional healing for the 2-action version increases by 8. So it would then be 2d8.
Oh, I totally get what it's like.
16.
When you drink too much coffee. That's a problem.
Oh, I don't know what that means. Do you get jittery? So those are the only... There's only 2 focus spells. It's Heal Animal or Goodberry. For a druid at first level. Then you gotta wait. Oh, no, there's more. Oh, they're not in... Oh, okay. I thought they'd be in order by level, but apparently not. Another one. Tempest Surge. Wild Morph. Wild Shape. Ooh, the Wild Morph is 1 or 2. And it's got a few different options there. Morph your body based on your training. Choose one of the following effects based on your Wild Order feats. If you have Wild Shape, you can morph your hands into claws. Your hands transform into incredibly sharp... That's like a Wolverine ability. These claws are an unarmed attack you're trained in and deal 1d6 slashing damage each. Agile Finesse. You can still hold and use items with your hands while you're transformed by the spell, but you cannot hold an item while attacking. If you have Insect Shape, you can instead transform your mouth into wild jaws. I think they mean mandibles. An unarmed attack you're trained in that deals 1d8 piercing damage. If you have Elemental Shape, you can morph your body to be partially composed of elemental matter, granting you resistance 5 to critical hits and precision damage. If you have Plant Shape, you can morph your arms into long vines, increasing your reach to 10 feet, or 15 feet with a reach weapon. If you have Soaring Shape, you can cast the spell as a 2-action activity to grow wings from your back. These wings allow you to fly with a fly speed of 30 feet.
And this is all...
That's under Wild Morph.
Oh, that all sounds so cool.
Yeah, that you would do that with one of your animal things. So, and then there's Wild Shape. You infuse yourself with primal essence and transform yourself into another form. You can polymorph into any form listed in Pest form, which lasts 10 minutes. All other Wild Shape forms last 1 minute. You can add more forms to your Wild Shape list with Druid feats. Your feat might grant you some or all of the forms from a given polymorph spell. When you transform into a form granted by a spell, you gain all the effects of the form you chose from a version of the spell heightened to Wild Shape's level. Wild Shape allows you to use your own shape-shifting training more easily than most polymorph spells. When you choose to use your own attack modifier while polymorphed, instead of the form's default attack modifier, you gain a +2 status bonus to your attack rolls. Whew. I am 21. When I need to do schoolwork, I do not go to sleep. Yep, that makes sense. I could do that at 21 too. Hey Cameron, how does it feel to be stoned? Once I heard this, if a man lies with a male as with a woman, both of them shall be stoned. It feels good. I feel a lot less pain when I'm stoned. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little confused about the spells and how you select spells.
And what's the list of Wild Shape?
I totally am 20 pages, 30, I don't know, a lot of pages away now. I just read it. Go back and watch the video.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm over here trying to focus and paint and also listen to whatever stuff you're,
I'm doing this for you and the audience.
I know,
but mostly you this time.
I know, but I tried to tell you, oh, here are just the things I want to know. And you're like, no, I got to read it word for word.
I have to. I can't paraphrase it. How am I going to paraphrase that? All right.
I don't know.
Sudra, oh man, what causes you pain? Pain? A wife? In the neck? Oh, just kidding. In the butt? No. Wait, that did not sound right at all. That was not how I meant that.
You meant a pain in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good job,
man,
honey.
what causes you pain? So I don't know about these spells. Divine, arcane, occult. I mean, normally druids use divine spells. That's how it always was.
Yeah.
Occult spells, primal spells. I could see why you would use primal. There's nothing in the spell descriptions that say anything. So I just got to go back to druid again and try and magically figure this out. It's so confusing. Druid advancement. Okay. Primal spellcasting.
Okay.
Primal spells. Primal spellcasting.
Primal spells.
So you probably can use any of the primal spells.
Which are?
Primal. There's lists under primal.
I know, but like, can you go to primal and list out a couple?
Yes. All right.
You're such a pain.
I asked Cameron. No, I know you asked Cameron, Sudra. I'm sorry. I just have to talk. Cameron says joint mobility issues and old injuries. Cameron, you're not that old, are you? How old are you? Sounds like arrow to the knee.
I mean, he doesn't really have to be that old. Seeing as how, like, I go to physical therapy once a year for like, some sort of, like, you know.
Yeah, but you stand with your knees locked out.
I do not now.
You still do.
And it's not just been my knee. It's been, like, you know, my back and my hip and every other.
Has it been your hip? Well, yeah, the hip after the pregnancies, yeah. And not every year. It's only a year after you have a baby. That's when you have your hip issues.
No,
right?
I didn't have any problems after I had Lily.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
I had it after Caleb.
I'm 30. I feel really old, though. I'm 35. I got bad knees. I have arthritis in my knees. I've got a hip problem that I've had since I met Paula 10 years ago. I've got, which is basically like a pain in the butt. And I've got, what else do I got? Hip, knees, back.
We're all broken.
That's about it. So I understand. Okay. I can't believe it's right there in the damn thing. Primal spells. You can cast primal spells. Primal spells. And you can hold a primal focus, such as holly and mistletoe. For spells requiring material components instead of needing to use spell component pouch. Okay. At first level, you can prepare 2 first level spells and 5 cantrips each morning from the common spells on the primal spell list. So common spells on the primal spell list in this book, page 314, or from other primal spells to which you gain access. Prepared spells remain available to you until you cast them or until you prepare your spells again. The number of spells you can prepare is called your spell slots. As you increase in level as a druid, the number of spells you can prepare each day increases, as does the highest level of spell you can cast. Some of your spells require you to attempt a spell attack. Okay. So 314. Let's just try this again. Now that we know.
Primal.
Now that we know.
Watch me after this. After
tomorrow?
All of this, you know it's going to happen.
You're not going to choose it and I'm going to be pissed.
Is I'm going to be like, I should be like
sorcerer.
Ranger.
I'm going to be like, you need to buy your own damn book. Go read it yourself. Throw a book at her. Pow. I'll go down to rookies and see if they've got one for you. All right. So primal spells, cantrips, acid splash, dancing lights, detect magic, disrupt undead, electric arc, guidance, no direction, light, prestidigitation, produce flame, ray of frost, read aura, sigil, stabilize, tanglefoot. And your first level spells, of which you only get 2, is actually kind of long. Air bubble. Sounds like fart. Like air bubble. Fart in your general direction.
What's the short description for air bubble?
React to create air for a creature to breathe.
Oh, okay.
So in other words, if you are underwater or something.
Yeah.
Alarm. Be alter. Well, I don't need to read the descriptions. Alarm. Ant Hall. Which means target can carry more. Burning Hands. Charm. Create water, detect poison, fear, featherfall, fleet step, goblin pox, grease, gust of wind, heal, hydraulic push, jump, long strider, magic fang, mending, negate aroma. So there you go. You'll do air bubble, and then you'll do negate aroma. Pass without trace. Pest form, purify food and drink, shillelagh, shocking grasp, spider sting, summon animal.
Okay, I got it.
Summon fae, summon plants and fungi, and ventriloquism. So you only get 2 of those, though. Sudra, I used to play softball. In one match, they threw softball bat in my knee, like 3 times when I was catcher. And they hit a ball in my knee when I was a pitcher. From that point, I can't run for an extended period of time. Camera, be right back. Phone won't charge, and I need a smoke. Ouch, dude. That sounds terrible. Yeah, first time I hurt my knee, I was playing football. We were doing a drill with the linebackers because it was just the linebacker group, and we had to lay on our back helmet to helmet, and one of us would get a ball and the other one would have to tackle us. So we'd start on our backs and we'd both have to get up as quick as possible, and the one person tried to tackle the other. So I had the ball, and I remember getting up and I went to run through the guy, and I did. However, he still hung onto my legs and my one leg in his armpit, and I tried to twist out of it, and I twisted my knee. That was the very first knee injury I had. And then that same knee I hurt 6 months later playing baseball. I hyperextended it. Running back to third base after a wild pitch. So,
oh, but they won the match for their team.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at least that's...
You could still pitch without being able to run, though. You're 21, man. You could probably rehab your knee and be fine.
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, you just apparently have to get high. Deal with the pain. Get high, go play.
Just do drugs. You'll be fine.
Do drugs.
We don't.
Wait, they're not
that.
drugs anymore. They're legal
we
here.
We don't endorse that.
It's legal here.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just.
So saying. It's okay. It's okay. See? It's good to go. Good to go. No, it's all good, man. I get it. All right. So, I don't know. I think it sounds cool. I think I'm starting to get certain things. I now understand how to do spells for a druid. I still don't understand the focus thing. I think that's what you get from the feat thing that you chose. So you would get the spells, and then you might be able to improve some of those spells with the focus spells or whatever.
Yeah.
Is what it sounds like.
That's what I was thinking.
Or vice versa or whatever. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty basic when you really think about that. That's everything.
It's pretty just normal druid stuff.
I mean, yeah. So say you did that. Say you went through and you're like, all right, I'm this woodland or this old elf that I don't remember what I get from being old, but I'm old. And then I get this background that lets me do something again, like herbalist stuff to extra heal. And then as a, spellcaster, I can cast these primal spells. And depending on which one I took, I'm better at certain things. Whether I'm changing into an animal, whether I have an animal companion, or I'm casting elemental storm spells or something. Mm-hmm. And you get a couple of those, and that's it. And then on your turn, you can do 3 different things, and there you go. You can either move 3 times, you can attack 3 times, you can do whatever you want within those 3 things.
Yeah, I think it sounds fine.
Yeah. I think it sounds fine too. I mean, there's things that are a little more complicated, like when you get into some of the defensive type things, some of the holding your spells for the next round or whatever, and things like that.
Yeah. See.
What country are you in, Sudra? It's not legal there. That's interesting. It's not legal in most of America either. In fact, federally, it's still illegal. However, just down the street here, we have a weed store. You can just drive in and
it's called
pick stuff up.
Med Cafe.
Yeah, but it's not medicinal. It's recreational.
I know.
The medicinal ones are located elsewhere.
Yeah, we don't have
because you
those
can't do
ones.
both. You have to either be a medicinal one or a recreational one. Plus, I will be kicked out of the league for using drugs to increase my capabilities.
Yeah, we were just joking.
Were you a professional softball player? Were they drug tested you? Was it a serious softball league, or I thought this was recreational? The Czech Republic, small country in the middle of Europe. Yeah. I know where Czech is.
I know that we're Americans, so geography is not our strong suit.
I've known people from the Czech.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I
and
know,
Ukraine,
but I'm just saying,
I used to know some people
Americans
from Ukraine.
are notorious for
Dude, I'm a Red
sucking
Wings
at-
fan. Dominic Hasek was our goalie for a while. Like, yeah, dude, I totally get your hockey players. I love hockey. So yes, Czech Republic's cool with me.
We're just not.
So were you a professional softball player at like 17 years old or something? 18 years old? You're 21 now, you said, right? But yes, ice hockey. I was a huge. So growing up, I watched sports pretty much nonstop. Like every single night, I was in front of the TV watching sports or wrestling. That's how I grew up. The only way weed is going to increase your capabilities is if you put a giant Pop-Tart at home. No, okay. So weed will increase your capabilities. As a sports fan, I know how it will. It will help you recover from pain more. You can work out through pain. You can eat when you have no appetite, when you need to put on weight to bulk up muscle. So weed is a performance enhancer. I totally get that. However, I do think it should be completely okay for anybody, just like whatever the hell you want to eat diet-wise is okay. Hell, I don't have a problem. People want to inject themselves with steroids. It's their life. Let them live it. There's the libertarian side of me coming out, right?
Yeah, that is.
You're
getting a
but I don't
crazy
care if
over there.
John down the street wants to go shoot up as long as he's not hurting anybody or putting his own, household in jeopardy.
Yeah, that's not how
But that's
it
just me.
works.
Oh, I know.
You know it don't work that way.
I know, because they make stupid choices. But I get it. But when you're on weed, you don't. You just sit around and do nothing. And then sleep. And dry and wake up with cotton mouth or whatever. Was it called cotton? Is it called cotton mouth? It was not professional league, but they sometimes tested us. That is wild to me. That is so wild. Melchior, welcome. So glad you could make it. We are right now talking about drugs and performance enhancing capabilities.
Yeah, but we were trying
arguing
to
about
figure
spells.
out how to make a druid in Pathfinder.
We were figuring out the spells and things like that because Paula thinks she might play one, but I have a feeling she's going to go back on that now just to screw with me.
I mean, the only downside to it is, like I said, that it's just like a one-shot, and I would like to play...
That could change. What if it's a fantastic session? That might change things. We could conceivably be in 2 Pathfinder campaigns a month from now as players. Like, it's possible. Because we've got the one shot, and then we've got the one that Roll Stats has offered to run for us. Right? I just don't know how often Roll Stats can run a game, because he seems pretty busy. And so that's the only question I have there. Melchior says, I personally refuse to take drugs which aren't prescribed by someone qualified, but I still feel that criminalizing drugs doesn't help anyone. So, yeah, I was kind of kidding. I mean, I don't want my neighbor shooting up just to shoot up and whatever. I was joking about that. Probably a dumb thing to joke about. My dad actually died of a drug overdose. I grew up around that kind of stuff, so I'm actually very anti taking pills, or even when they're prescribed, I sometimes don't take them. So, I've had Vicodin given to me pretty carelessly by doctors in the past, and so I'm very adamant about not always taking those. In fact, I had a stomach issue about 13 years ago where they tried to give me Vicodin for it and sent me home, and I didn't take it. And then, lo and behold, I had the same pains when my wife and I, shortly after we had our daughter, and found out that I had gangrene in my gallbladder and stones, and it was swollen to the size of an eggplant. Anyways, I had to have emergency surgery. And they had actually tried to send me home before doing a CT scan, I think, was what it was that detected it, correct?
Yeah.
Because my blood test came back fine, and everything else came back fine. And the doctor was like, all right, we're going to send you home some pain medication. And I was like, no, I don't want that. You got me here. Do something else. And I was high on Dilaudid, which is great, by the way. And that was the last time I had that. I've only had that twice. It was great both times, though.
I know. Do you remember after I gave birth to Lily? And
Did they give it to you?
No. And I said, hey, could I have some Tylenol or something for this pain? And you were like, yeah. Can you give her Dilaudid? And the nurse was like, no, I can't do that.
Yeah. It was great. It's instantly so they put the IV in you and you're like, oh, my stomach, it hurts. It legit hurts. And then all of a sudden, as they're pushing the syringe in you, you feel your whole body go like warm, but not like sweaty warm, like a cozy, comfy warm. And the pain is immediately gone. And you're just like, oh, that was great. Like that, it's almost like when you first get into a warm bathtub, except you don't feel it on the outside. You feel it through your body. And it's just great. Like even thinking about it, I'm like, that was a great feeling. But yeah. So anyways, I was on that and then I was like, no, I want to get this sorted out because this isn't right. This is worse than last time. I sent Paula home with the baby at the time.
Yeah, he sends me home with the baby at 9:00 and he was like, don't worry. They said they're going to discharge me soon. So
I'll have my mom bring me
My
home.
mom's going to bring me home. I'll probably be home in a couple hours.
After they run the final
I wake
test.
up at like 3 a.m.
No, it was like 12:30, I think.
No, because it was like 2 hours after you were supposed to be home. And
okay.
He's not home. And I call him and he's like, yeah, I'm doing great. Like, they're going to rush me in for emergency surgery in the morning. So you got to be at the hospital at like 9 a.m. to see like if I do okay out of surgery and like talk to the doctor, okay? And I'm like, what do you mean emergency surgery? And I'm like, what doctor? Where am I supposed to go? And he's like, to like the emergency surgery place at the hospital.
St. Joe's. I said St. Joe's.
He's like zero help. And he's like, it's going to be fine. It's like not even a big deal. It's just emergency surgery.
I remember the drive over, the guy who was in the back with me was like, yeah, this is just my part-time job. During the day, I like push lumber around a lumber yard. I was like, oh. He's like, yeah, I'm going to school for this or something. Like, I just had to get a certification. Like, he made it sound so simple. And I was just like, oh, okay, well, at least you don't have to do anything to me. So then we get to the hospital. I remember him pushing me in some back door and put me in like a room. And I'm still on the same bed because I'm not getting up because I'm undilauded. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, do. And I remember waiting. I have no idea how long I waited. It didn't feel like a long time, but at the same time, it didn't feel quick. And time doesn't pass normally. And then all of a sudden someone came in and said what they were going to do. I'm like, okay. So then they took me back to another room where then I had to somehow change and put my clothes into a bag, I think. And then they pull you out and they give you a shot of something. They're like, all right, just do that count backwards thing. And I think I made it. I think I made the full countdown.
They just make you start over again then, usually.
Oh, I don't know, because I didn't have to do it a second time. I woke up, and then I was, like, all groggy, sitting up, kind of. Like, I remember people, like, shaking me or something, like my arm or something. And I'm in, like, a wheelchair. Was I in a wheelchair? Or was I still in a bed? I was sitting up in a bed, wasn't I? Was I sitting up?
No,
I was laying down?
laying down.
Oh, okay. So maybe they sat me up after surgery or something. That doesn't make sense, because I had a cut across my whole stomach. I don't know. Anyways, I remember somebody shaking me. Oh, I remember what it was. It's because when I got in the room, they had me sit up, and the 4 little tiny 80-pound nurses couldn't move me to the other bed, and I had to literally pull myself over.
They weren't 80-pound nurses.
They were tiny.
They were just like regular people.
So they were tiny. They were super tiny. My dad said they were tiny because he was there too. It was my dad and my wife. So then I had to pull myself over to the other bed.
Plus the baby.
Yeah, but they made my dad and her stay in the hallway while I had to pull myself over to the other bed. I don't understand why they do that, but okay. And then, yeah. Rest is history.
It was fine.
Yep. Yeah, oh, Cameron, of course I'm okay. I think you're talking to me. I think it would be more effective if people were able to purchase drugs legally, but the pharmacist who hands them over has to always give a warning. I think people know the warning. I don't think that helps. Something like, remember, this stuff will kill you if you use too much at a time. Some people want to die from doing it. Like, so I don't know if that would help. Especially at the wrong time. It might just encourage it. Plus, the warnings are on the bottles already. And most people get prescription bottles of them. They just find ways to get it illegally. Like forging doctor's notes or buying the bottle off of somebody who actually needed it. Again, my dad used to have a bunch of pain pills, and I know most of them were not prescribed to him. Always worded a bit differently so that people can't get used to the same warning and just tune it out. Yeah, I don't know if that would matter.
No, because like
Change the subject. I'd like to have a mini for my wizard character, but it would need to be pretty small to fit on the whiteboard we use for drawing dungeon maps on. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
I don't know where they make small minis. Maybe Warhammer's a little smaller. I don't know. I live in post-communist country. People here want to die from drugs. Legalization of hard drugs will be really bad for our society. Maybe, yeah. Yeah, Melchior, I'm with you on that. God knows how many people would benefit from a legitimate drug system. Most of what's dangerous about drugs is the people you come into contact with. I don't know about that either. I don't know. It is what it is. I think some people enable others. But anyways, yeah, let's talk about this mini. How is it coming along? Do you like it?
Oh, he's going okay. I just didn't like kind of have like some base colors down. That's as far as I've gotten, really.
That sword thing looks good.
To be honest,
on the side.
with you.
You're gonna make the sheath silver too?
What?
The sheath for the sword on his hip is silver right now. Are you gonna leave it that way?
I think so.
Because I think you could do something cool with it. Because it's got quite a bit of detail on it.
I know. I thought
Like
I'd
if you
do
made it
something
brown
with the
and then put some
embellishment.
green on it or something.
I thought I'd do something with the embellishment, but I'd like it to be silver.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I like the sheath being silver.
I think it's gonna be okay.
I just don't like it.
This,
His hair, like the red is coming out pretty good, I think. Why do you make the faces lighter typically? Like right there, it looks fine because you've done some shadowing. But why is it like a pink rather than red? I'm just
because
curious.
that's pretty typical.
Is it
for animals? Yeah,
Is it?
a lot of times closer to their nose, it's like lighter, or around their eyes.
Is it
It'll be lighter.
really? Like every
Yeah,
animal I'm
they
thinking right now is
age.
complete opposite.
No, as they age.
Well, that's because it's white hair usually.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was
Okay.
trying to make it
I
a
was
little
just
bit
curious.
more dynamic. I mean, I could make him look spotted, but I figured that'd be stupid.
Okay, I
And
don't
if
know.
I make it all the same color, it's kind of boring,
Okay,
right?
maybe. So far, we've been managing by using magnetic dots, magnets glued into colored plastic as our character. Are you guys playing on a really small table or something? Because maybe the trick is to put a table topper, like a thing that goes up like 10 inches above the table, so you can still set your papers down, and then you just use a normal size flip mat on the table topper.
Or maybe if you're using colored plastic, instead of the colored plastic, you can get those larger baking sheets, and you can actually draw something on them, and then you bake them and they shrink down, so you'd have like a little mini image on your colored plastic, and then you could glue it to the magnet, and it would be it's like a little
shrinky
image.
things.
A little shrinky.
Yeah, isn't that
thing.
what they were called? You could do. You used to be able to buy characters, put them in the oven, and it would shrink. Like, it would make
Yeah.
them bigger.
You mean make them smaller?
No, I think it made them bigger.
Okay, well, so what I'm talking about.
I don't know. Maybe
is
in the opposite.
smaller.
I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Either way, I don't like the idea.
So, but I'm just saying, like, that would be an idea. So then you would have like an image that would be like, let's say, this big.
If you're rich,
Right.
you could use Hero Forge. Hero Forge is only $30. It is a lot. Like but you could just go and buy a Reaper Bones mini for like $4. But the issue isn't the money. It sounds like it's a spatial issue rather than a cost issue. So
So we can figure out what to do.
yeah, it's a whiteboard.
Okay, so he says we lay a small whiteboard down on the table and the DM draws the dungeon on it, and we show where we are so we can figure out what we can see and we can aim at. So you're just doing like
For representation.
the whiteboard is
Their
you
flip
know
map.
yes, but it's like the room that they're in and just the room that they're in. Like it's not the whole area.
Yeah, I get exactly what he's saying.
Right.
I just think there's still cheap, easy ways if space
Cameron
isn't
says,
an issue.
I've been drawing really simple figures on cardstock and then cutting a slice in the small square of cardboard as a base to fit the cardstock into. You can make them as small or as big as you want. Oh, those are sort of like the Pathfinder ones.
Right. But the
Right?
question is, so Melchior, I understood what you were saying about the whiteboard. However, Is your table like a normal dinner table? Is it a small card table? Is the problem space or is it cost? Like, because buying a flip mat, you can get the basic flip mat from Pathfinder for like $10. It's already gridded. It's really easy to write on. Like, it's perfect for dry erase. We use it all the time in our games, even though I have terrain and stuff like that.
So I
and
think
then miniatures can actually be cheap too.
Because our advice would be different.
Yes.
Depending on what your problem is.
Yeah, 100%. Because I would say if space is not an issue, I would do that flip map, and I would just buy a few miniatures for the player characters only. And then I would look at something like this.
Oh, yeah, these are good.
For any monster.
Okay, so this is part of, like, Pocket DM.
Yeah, and you can
They're like these little tokens that you get. So you can use these number tokens are great for monsters when you have multiples. And you can even use, like, so you see it has, like, a 3 on it.
They're all custom orders.
The other side is slightly different, though, too, which I like because, in my opinion, you could take this, like, hey, this is number 3, he's alive, and now this is number 3, and he's dead, but you can easily tell the difference right here, right?
Right.
But then you have other ones that have, like, little symbols on them, so you could use these as characters if you wanted to be a specific symbol.
But it's
100%
like custom. So you can either do numbers, you can do symbols, you can do hashtags, you can change the colors. I got this. You can do big ones. Well, I was trying to use the squares on here to show them size relations. I don't.
Yeah, but you didn't put the camera in focus for those, so it's fine.
I know your arm was in my way of putting it in front of there. Anyways, so if you see right here.
I'll get some water while you're talking.
Here, give me some water.
No, thank you.
Please. So anyways, you got the big one right there, and then you got the small one right here, right? So you could do something like that. But again, you can do like numbers, you can do symbols. There's all sorts of different symbols, like she was saying. But it's 100% custom, 100%. So it's exactly to order. You can change the colors, just everything. If the issue is size, the big thing I would say is you can do things about the size to give yourself still some space like creating a table topper. And what that is it's something you would set on top of your table that's got a couple legs so that you can still use your books and everything underneath it. And then on top of it, you would just have your flip mat and things like that. The other thing we used to use when I first got into D&D is washers and print out the pictures you want in 1-inch squares or 1-inch circles and put them on the washers. And that's how we used to do that. And so then one side we would actually make it all red, and that meant that the creature was dead. And then the other side would be the colored version, and they all had a number on them. So if you had goblins, you'd have them numbered 1 through like 10 or whatever. And that was so you knew which one was which, and it'd be easy to designate, oh, I'm hitting the first one or the fourth one. So that's how we used to do it. Normal dinner table, but we often have our books and spell ability notes and stuff on the table, along with cups for drinks and even cups for snacks. Yeah, I would do a table topper then. Doesn't sound like money's the problem. Those are about twice the size of the magnetic dots, which we use. And that last one is about 3 times the size. So a set of these comes with 20 of these 1-inch tokens. Or you can get it with 5 of the bigger ones. And they vary in price. I think one of these is like $15 or something. I could be wrong. Also, if you watch DM Lair Luke, he sometimes has giveaways for tactical tokens, and tactical tokens are very similar, except they are dry erase. So you could use those too. But they're really cool. I would highly recommend it. This right here is actually in my... this right here would actually be like my DM travel kit, like if I'm going to run a game. So, this is a go-to for that. I use number bottle caps for monsters. They are way cooler, LOL. The main problem with size is probably that we have 7 players. It probably wouldn't be a problem with only the traditional 4 players. Again, the tabletopper gets rid of that. 100%. Hey, Paula.
Yeah.
So they play with 7 people on a normal dinner table, which we used to play with upwards of what? 6? Or we had a 7-person. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had a 7-player 1DM table when we had everyone in that really terrible game we played.
Yeah.
When we first moved back. We played like 2 sessions. It was awful. So the issue is more size.
So they like those?
Space. Yeah, I think so.
They're actually
but
pretty
I don't
cool.
think they've solved the problem if the issue is space. So they need to figure that out. I said make a tabletopper. I've shown you that before. I've seen friends do it. Some people make custom gaming tables that kind of give that tabletopper feel, but it's just fixed to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
I like the idea of a tabletopper because I can see it over my screen, but you know, and I like to use a screen because I like the notes on it. So Sudra said, I think your wife would be good at making ASMR videos. Wink, wink. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
What does that mean, Sudra? Cameron, the games Risk and Pandemic Cthulhu will have the size minis you need. The cultists in Pandemic are super small, and there are Shogoth minis as a plus. All the soldiers in Risk are super small too. When she tapped on token, it tingled the shit out of me. What?
What's happening over there?
I have no idea what Sudra's talking about. Yes, that's 8 people, including the DM. Oh, okay, yeah, we had the same size group. We actually use the table that I have my computer on sometimes, over on the other side of my green screen. And it worked fine. We used the regular flip mat. I gave them clipboards for their character sheets.
Yes, actually,
so,
that's
rather than keeping it on the table.
That's really helpful. And the other thing that does is it makes it so that people don't like spread their papers out as much, right? Because that's what a lot of people do is they sit down and like spread their papers out, and like then they have their spell cards next to them. And that was the other thing is that you had a spell book printed out so that it's like, oh, if you were a paladin, you could just use the paladin section or whatever. Yeah. And so then everybody didn't even need individual
that was pre
like
spell cards for us too. Like I had a book of spells where I printed a bunch of the spell cards out and put them in loose leaf or whatever, like card things. Oh, he means ASMR videos, like the sound ones where they like cut stuff and
okay,
like just things about the soothing sounds, or I don't know. I don't get that whole thing. Like, ooh, I like to watch people cut the wax off candles. Like, ouch, I got bit in the neck again by a mosquito. Oh, I hate it.
Just killed one a minute ago. Sorry.
Yeah, we get a bunch out here. I don't know how to get rid of them. I don't know how to get in my game room. Except through the garage, but that door's always shut.
I don't know.
It's got to be through the door.
Mosquitoes love both of us so much.
They got to get in through the door. That's
so much. Happen. You guys, they like eat us alive. Mm-hmm. It's like a big.
Yes, ASMR videos though. So that's what they want you to do. Apparently, it got him going. There we go. Premium snaps, baby. I tell you what, you go over to our Patreon. You drop $100. We'll make an ASMR video once a week for you. $100 a month.
Premium snaps.
They'll be 5 minutes long each.
Can you make $100 a month premium snap level?
I would not call it that. I would probably call it the ASMR level. Away from keyboard a few. My cat is being annoying and demanding attention, even though he doesn't really need it. Oh, that cat. Cats always need that attention. What are you talking about? You got to squeeze your lifetime down into their, 15 years of life. They deserve it. I'm not a big cat person. I like cats. The problem is I've never had a cat as good as the very first cat I had in my life. And it's hard when not a single cat has ever come close to living up to that. So for me, I have no interest in getting another cat. You know?
Oh, Cameron says No, I wasn't asking for them. They make me uncomfortable. Oh, because Cameron.
No,
was
I know,
saying,
not you, Cameron. We're talking about Sudra. Unless AMSR is different than ASMR.
I feel like I should Google this. Because, like,
You don't know what that is?
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what an AMSR video is. I'm assuming he meant ASMR. That's like where people will take a knife and they'll shave a candle because it has this sound to it. Or they'll like take a bunch of book pages and go,
yeah,
you know,
no,
like
I know.
stuff like that.
Okay, well, I was.
But
just
I know you weren't asking,
sure.
Cameron.
I was just making sure there wasn't some other thing that we didn't know about.
From AMSR?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just trying to be thorough with my information.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I got this game down. I think I get it. I think I can handle it. I think it's a matter of just playing a few different classes and getting over the control aspect as a GM. Because that's how I feel a lot of times. Like I feel like I need to know what every player is capable of, you know, when I'm running a game. And so if I ran this, I just need to give up control. Not worry about it.
Chill the F out.
100%. Yeah, that's what Sudra meant. See, there we go. We're good. And Cameron, oh good, I didn't want to contribute. LOL. I mean, if you want to contribute, you can. I mean...
It's just $100 a
month
to contribute.
No, let's be honest. We'd probably do it for cheaper. I mean, you can sit there and tap on the tokens. You can shuffle cards. Like...
I am good at
carve wax candles, but we need enough money to buy the candles. I guess you could melt it back into a ball of wax afterwards, right? Like after you cut it up. Oh, they do it with soap. That's what it is. It's soap.
You always talk about us like we're like the most broke people in the world.
The most broke people?
Yeah.
I mean, we're not rich. We can't afford Hero Forge minis up in here.
You're always like, you know.
You could do a one-time donation, too. We'll do that. We'll take that through PayPal.
You're always just like, yeah, I'd do it for less. I don't know. Like,
I would. I've got a lower
said it about other things. I'm just like...
About what other things are you talking about?
I'm just saying.
Some premium snaps? I mean, hey, if they want to see me shirtless, I mean, that comes pretty cheap. I'm a curvy guy. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Just shut up.
I mean, my DMs are open, but I am kidding. Sorry if I'm making any of you uncomfortable. Will you occasionally scream into the microphone to wake people up?
Cameron, he'll do whatever you want, man.
Cameron, I don't know if you caught this a couple weeks ago, but I'll whisper into the microphone if you need help falling asleep. You know, it doesn't matter. If all we're talking about is a little bit of time, I can give up some time for some money. But I'm expensive. I'm so expensive. I'm probably about $1 a minute. Maybe $5 a minute. If it's like a 10-minute video, that's like $50. That sounds about fair, right? I think I would do that if you want me to scream into a microphone for you. I should just go on Fiverr and offer to scream into microphones, whisper into microphones, whatever you want me to read. Maximum of 10-minute videos. Minimum $50. I should do that. I wonder if people would pay me for that. Is that weird? That would be awesome. Like, what is your job? Oh, well, you see, I offer my services either screaming or whispering into a microphone for $50 per 10 minutes.
I'm a virtual...
It's $300. I make $300 an hour.
What would that be? Like a virtual linguistics, like, concept artist?
Something. Is it? You got to come up with a cool name for that. You're going to make me into a genius here. Social work success in the 1980s in relation to youth offending by diversion from the youth justice system and developing alternatives to incarcer has been well documented and was a factor in the decline of recorded crime by young people by the end of the decade. How interesting. I have no idea what the heck... Is that your paper? That must be his paper he's writing. Right?
Yeah, what's your paper for?
We already talked about that. It was
like
the neoliberalism.
No, but is it like for a class or like... I don't know.
Hey, I don't know either. We're just hanging out here, having a good time.
I'm just asking questions.
We're just having a good time.
See, that looks pretty good.
I think it looks sweet.
The pink?
Yeah, I actually like how subtle it is. I still don't... Yeah, I don't know about the sword sheath. It doesn't look like a sheath.
This one?
Yeah.
It's going to work out. I'm not done with it yet.
All right. Does he have like green bands on his arm? That's kind of wicked.
They're going to be gold.
Oh.
They're yellow right now, but they're going to be like a bronzy gold thing.
This is probably going to be my favorite mini you've ever painted, I think.
It's going to look cool. And then I'll do probably like some green down here. Right, like lime green. This will end up having a green
flame
like tint. Green tint to it.
Love it. Green flame.
You know, so then we're playing off the green. But that's the other reason too why you can't have a bright red face next to the green flame.
Gotcha. Because
then the face will look even brighter red orange, and it won't be a good look. Gotcha. Like it's gotta be washed out.
Gotcha.
Or I could make it more yellow.
No, I like green.
Do it that
Stick
way,
with the green. Green flame.
No, I mean the face. I can make the face a little bit yellow, orange, and then to red.
No, I like.
Or red. I can do it this way where it's lighter, and I'll blend it better. Obviously.
Yeah, just leave it.
We're not.
I almost wish it was brighter red, but it's all right. Whatever.
I know, but it won't. It'll look brighter once I do this green.
That's fine. I'm gonna trust you.
The face will look brighter.
I'm gonna trust you on it.
Promise.
So I like that it's gonna be a green flame because I'm a big Acquisitions Incorporated fan, and anytime because they play in front of a live audience. Anytime they say green, see, even Cameron chanted it. Every time they say like fire or flame, like everyone will be like, "What color's the flame?" And the DM says green, and the crowd goes, "Green flame!" It's like this big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Chris Perkins Acquisitions Incorporated deal. I love it.
See, look at that.
I absolutely love it.
I'm trendy without even knowing the trends. Look how cool I am, you guys.
Yup. We might have to make your character tomorrow while we paint. Like we'll start putting it on one of those character sheets.
Maybe.
And then I'll put it into the PDF. You know? We'll make your druid tomorrow night. If that's what you still want to play after hearing what everyone else wants to play.
Yeah, that might make a difference too.
Yeah, I'm sure. Because a rogue might be fun for you. I mean, you haven't played a rogue in a couple years.
I know.
Like
I haven't
5
played
years,
a druid
4
in
years.
a couple years either.
That's true. Not since your brother shot you down.
Yeah, and I've never really been able to play that like druid character the way I wanted to.
So, do you want to see if there's Entangle in here? Because I didn't see it at first level. Because that was your go-to spell. I actually was telling the story the other day.
That's always like a go-to druid spell, though.
Yeah, but you love that
That was
spell.
for 2nd edition. That was the only good druid spell.
It wasn't the only good spell. There were good spells. But, yeah. No, you liked that spell, though. And you used it in Savage Worlds. Anyways, we played... I told some people about this, where Entangle is a 2nd level spell. So is Enlarge. Flaming Sphere. There's actually a lot of good 2nd level spells. Obscuring Mist, Shatter, Speak with Animals, Spider Climb, Summon Elemental, Web, Bark Skin, Acid Arrow, Continual Flame, Darkness, Dispel Magic. Yeah, there's
a lot of good stuff.
Like Fairy Fire. There's a lot of good 2nd level spells that a druid can get. That's cool. No, I was telling the story about not too long ago with some people. I don't know if it was after a game or what, but I told them that we were playing in a game. I'm not going to say what game or anything, but the DM shot down your description of Entangle and said that it had to be a certain thing because of the setting, no matter what. And I remember thinking at that moment how stupid that was. And you should always let the player describe how their spell looks. Like, there's no mechanical difference. There's no story difference. Like, let the player narrate the look of the spell.
However they want.
If they want it to be plants, if they want it to be octopus tentacles, because I think that's what he did. He said, no, in this it had to be like a black tentacle, right? Isn't that what it was? or something. I think that's what it was. It had to be a black tentacle. And I remember feeling like, oh, that was not the way to go. Melchior, I wonder if the local game store has any miniatures which could be used for RPG gaming. They probably don't have anything specialist, but they may have something incidentally useful. So you need to look for the Nolzurs, basically WizKids miniatures like these. This is what you need to find. Look how cheap they are. Free. No, $3.99. Like you can't tell. They're $4 each, and you get 2 miniatures. They're pretty cool. That's what she's painting. She's painting a $2 miniature right now. Because 2 for $4.
And they're already, like, I like these ones a lot because, like, some of these other ones, they're pre-primed. And they have stuff. Dynamic figures, you know? So you got, like, this guy here. You got, like, this right here. Like, they just have really, like, dynamic... Mm-hmm.
And they're cheaper. They're actually like cheaper than the Reaper Bones.
And the detail is really, really nice too.
Yeah, it's a harder plastic.
You know,
so they get more detail in it. For sure.
So I mean, it ends up looking pretty good most of the time.
Yep. So
the extra detail makes it look like I'm doing a better job than what I'm doing.
No, I don't know about that. You do a good job. People like your miniatures. Which, by the way, we will be doing a Paula's painting tutorial series in the coming weeks. We'll film it sometime soon, I think. It might be a night that we would normally stream, but we'll take the time to actually film a couple videos instead. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll just take one of these videos and just use that for the visuals. I don't know. And then we'll just do some audio over it or something. Yeah, it'll depend. We'll see. But we will be doing that series. Now, it's not about how to paint correctly or the proper paints to use or anything like that, really. It's just going to be how to paint like Paula is what it's going to be. How to paint miniatures like Paula. We haven't settled on a name yet. We'll figure something cool out. And we'll just go through the steps that she takes from start to finish. And that way, if you guys want to paint miniatures that look like what she's done, you can figure out from watching these couple videos how she does it. I think it'll be pretty simple and straightforward. So hopefully you guys will get something cool out of those videos, though. Melchior, I might have to buy those online. There aren't enough RPGers in my town for any shop to support them. They wouldn't sell enough to be worth stocking. So we live in a 3,000 person town. Yeah, and they sell them at our local store. No, they sell them right down the street, too.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So he has them on the top shelf.
So the other thing you could do, though, is even if you have a comic book store, so, you know, you could go there, and they might not sell them, but they might have a distributor that they could custom order them from.
Right.
And if you are a small independent store and you do not offer the ability for your customers to custom order anything, then I don't know what you're doing. Like, it's just a, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do.
And it'll save you on shipping. You will not have to pay shipping. Because they'll order it with other stuff from that. And you will actually just be paying the normal price, probably. Or maybe a small markup. But it'll still save you the money from shipping.
Yeah, you might even be able to, you know, ask like some crossover stores if there's like a hobby store or something like that.
Cameron is stoked for your new series.
Oh my gosh, Cameron.
I actually have 2 video series. I have 2 video series ideas. The other one is like a 5-year-old idea that I'm still planning on doing with her. Where do you live, Melchior? What? Oh, in Australia. Dude, there's totally stuff in Australia. Where do you live in Australia? It's not going to make a difference because I don't know squat about it. But I have friends in Australia to get that stuff.
Tell us the specific area of Australia. It doesn't make a difference.
I mean, no, but there's stores. There's gotta be.
Because Australia is like so tiny. Sorry. Continue.
There's some. So, okay. So, Stefan from.
I know, but there are a lot of things like that we're talking about that we would use that would be significantly more expensive in Australia.
Well, yeah, 100%. But anyway, so Australia has one of the coolest gaming stores I've ever seen in my life. Stefan from Dwarven Forge recorded something a while back where he was in Australia for something. I don't know why. But he went into like this store that was in the basement of a place, and it had everything you can imagine, like first edition D&D stuff, like all the way up to current stuff in practically brand new condition. It was great.
Toy Store.
Comic books are dead in America too, man. They don't sell well.
Toy Store is a good option. Because Toy Store might also...
Hobby stores, too. Craft stores.
Yeah, Toy Store... Well, craft stores might be tough, but a toy store might have, like, generic sort of, like,
Not if they do dioramas.
Or something like that.
If they have the diorama section, they might stock that stuff for that.
Possibly.
You might be able to convince them.
What you might be able to do is you might be able to cross over into all the miniature garden items.
Wait, there's states in Australia?
Of course there are. What do you
mean, of course there are? There's not states in Canada.
No, there's
no states in Mexico.
Yeah, there are.
No, there's not.
There's states in, like, Spain and France.
Are there?
Yes.
No.
Yes. I mean, they're, like, smaller for us. It'd be the equivalent of us having, like, counties.
They probably have counties, too.
Like, I can't believe you just said that you didn't realize that they didn't
I've never heard of states in, like...
Because we're in America, and we suck at geography, and we only care about our crap.
Oh, whatever. What state do you live in?
Come on.
Michigan?
Come on. We have
Ohio.
somebody on here from Australia, and somebody from the Czech
Republic. I have a lot of friends in Australia.
Like, they can tell us...
Does the Czech Republic have states?
Our international friends here can tell us their, like, the view of Americans and how much we know about other countries.
Look, I don't dispute that at all. I don't dispute how stupid we are about geography, about politics, about any of that stuff.
I'm just saying,
history.
You're making us look real bad right now.
No, I'm not. I'm being real. I'm not covering it up. There are 7 states and territories. So, okay, yes, I did know there are territories, but that's different, right? Right?
Then what?
Than a state.
I mean, like, how?
It's different. Like, Canada is not, it's like all, what the heck do they call them? Oh my gosh, how am I drawing a blank? I just had the word. Because they have 2 territories, and the rest of them are whatever the heck the word is. What is Ontario? What the hell is it called?
Providence?
Yes, they have 2 territories, and the rest are provinces. Right?
Okay.
That's my understanding. So they're not the same thing. I mean, that doesn't mean another country treats them different. But
you know.
If you drop the state of Texas off in the state of Western Australia, you'd need a month's rations to find it again. I don't understand that phrase. Is it because Australia is so much bigger than Texas? Is that what he means?
Yeah, he's trying to give you a size comparison.
Isn't Australia like the same size as the United States?
Australia's massive.
Is it bigger than U.S. or smaller? I think it's about the same. Of the mainland, not like counting like Alaska and whatever. But
you mean the continental?
We do not really have states, but we have 14 regions with partial self-government. Okay, that would kind of be like our counties and stuff probably then. Probably similar to how states run, but probably a cross between that. Melchior says, a territory is just a region, which is effectively a state, but with a slightly different system of government than a state. Yeah, okay. See, I'm not dumb. It's different, but it's similar, but it's different. Boom. Sorry for my ignorance. Sorry. I really am sorry. I don't mean to come across as ignorant. I just truly had no idea you guys had states. Do your states have like the right to enforce rules that the federal government doesn't allow? Like, for example, our states allow drug use and the federal government has it's still illegal. Germany has states. Austria has states. Switzerland has cantons, which are basically states. I've never even heard of cantons, other than we have a city called Canton.
God, you're so bad.
No, it's not
you're
bad.
So bad.
It's not bad.
Like, I don't know how you didn't know these things.
I was never interested in geography. Like, I don't even remember. So I remember doing geography.
I took one geography class in my entire life.
You have a better memory than me in the first place, though, when it comes to class stuff. You know? Like, but if I take you to 20 houses, it all blurs together to you, whereas I can remember the differences. We have different skill sets with our memories. I appreciate the explanation, though. No, I took geography. I remember it in middle school. In high school, we did U.S. history.
Yeah, but guys, you have to understand when we take geography, that
it's pretty
includes,
basic.
like, you know, like the capital of another country.
Not really.
And like
Not really.
couple.
No, it's more like tectonic plates and like how the.
No, I had to know the capitals of every other country and had to be able to label
Okay,
countries,
well, your geography in middle school was different than mine.
If they were small enough countries, you didn't have to know the capitals. So that's basically the extent of the American school system in geography.
No, not middle school. Middle school, we learned more about, like, the formation of geography. Like, not landmarks and stuff as much. At least not from what I remember. But I only remember a small fraction of stuff from that class. But I feel like we learned a lot about, like, how the, like, we did learn, like, how a lot of borders were just, like, decided. I remember that a little bit. Like, how it's along water lines or mountain lines, things like that. Placement of cities, I think I remember something about that. Like, how a lot of them were determined. You know, things like that. I think it's a similar system where the feds can enforce laws, which the states don't enforce. Gotcha. Our states have more control than the federal government. So it's like states actually can take power from federal is how it kind of is. I mean, it goes both ways, but a state law trumps a federal law. I have a high school graduation in geography. Wait, you select majors in high school?
Yeah, most other...
well, damn, that would actually be kind of cool.
I think a lot of the EU does that.
I think that's cool. We have a weird system of, like, you know, standardized tests for things and
sucking and
what
sucking.
You need to know at each level, and that's all we really prepare our kids for through high school. And then in college, they pick a major, but then they have to take a bunch of bullshit classes that have nothing to do with it. And they say that it's so that you're well-rounded, but really it's so the schools can get more money out of you, is my opinion. I don't think it has anything to do with being well-rounded, like, at all. Like, why? It doesn't matter. My English is really rusty. My English sucks, too.
Great.
You're probably better than me. No, I'm not that bad at English. I actually got, in college, both of my college classes, I got A's for writing. I actually took 3. I took creative writing as well.
Yeah, but sometimes American and English are two different things. In the English that's taught in...
Yes, the spelling's different,
like,
too.
the EU and
yeah, the spelling's
like
different, too.
Yeah.
There's, like, a formal English, and then there's, like, American English.
Yes.
Where, like, one of us spells gray one way, the other one spells gray a different way.
Yeah, but there's also words that are not utilized
color,
in other language.
Sure. Like, what is it? Sofa is called a Davenport or something over there? Or what is it called?
That's what
you have different names for things. It doesn't matter. It's all good. So Pathfinder. Gosh, I wanted to talk Pathfinder.
We're, like, way off.
Yeah, we've been like this all night for some reason.
We don't know what's going on, guys.
I don't. So what do you guys want to know about Pathfinder? Now that I understand the spells a little better, that's cool. So this fighter that I'm going to make, I don't know what race or ancestry I'm going to be. I almost want to go dwarf again.
So do it.
I got to look at the dwarves. I don't know what their differences are. Ooh, okay. So Sudra says it is called Maturita in our country. Maturita. I need to pass in all classes and then make big exams from 4 or 5 subjects. Cameron says, we were allowed to specialize in high school, but there was no majors. Yeah, my sister, I think, had major. I think they were allowed to a few years after I graduated. I graduated in 2003. It was like before you could have a major. But we did have some kids who were so advanced. We had one kid in my grade who was allowed to, as a junior, start working on computer programming. So he'd signed up for the drafting class. So he was in my drafting class. However, he was not working on any of the drafting stuff. He had a special desk near the teacher's desk, and he was doing some like 3D programming stuff up there. He actually dated Heather, James's wife, for a minute.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, his name was Mike Williams, I think. He wanted to get into video game programming, I think. But yeah, actually, I should look him up and see if he ended up doing that or not. But I remember, because he was so smart, he was able to do what he, like, tailor his high school education around it rather than graduating early kind of thing.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't even ever get to talk to a counselor about...
Did you try to talk to a counselor?
About, like, classes or what I was supposed to do.
We didn't get that unless a teacher told us we needed to talk to a counselor because we had issues, like me, early in high school when I was doing really poor. Or if we sought out the counselor. There was no in-between, really.
Yeah, but, like, so how do you get some sort of custom class?
You're getting straight A's. You're in advanced classes like a freshman or sophomore, and there's nowhere to go from there. And by a junior, you're taking college classes like half the day.
Oh, yeah, we just sent him to college.
Anyone could do that as long as they were on track to graduate on time and not in like low-level classes. So like if you were in AP classes, you could technically take college courses as like your extras.
Oh, no, so we couldn't do that.
Or your
we
AP
had
could be a college
have
class.
already have exceeded and maxed out and taken all the college classes available. Like, so if you wanted to
maybe
take...
I'm wrong. I didn't take them.
If you wanted to take a college, like, calculus class, you would have already had to take AP Calc.
Yeah.
And AP Stats.
Yes.
And then you could take a college calc class.
Yeah. I think that's how it was. Yep.
Yeah, so it was, like,
but you could take any, like,
was,
electives, I think.
Yeah, it was virtually impossible because you couldn't...
right.
To do with some electives because you couldn't get that far ahead because even if you were testing ahead, you just were put in the AP class. Like, you couldn't move forward any faster.
Right.
That was always my gripe, is that it was like, oh, okay, you can take...
So the problem is you should have went to your counselor as like a sophomore or junior when you were ahead of a bunch of people, and you should have talked to him about it because you could have done more if you wanted to.
Yeah, because I always think...
The problem is you didn't seek them out because that's what you had to do at my school.
So I didn't realize, though.
We had a girl who was supposed to graduate with us
thing.
that when we were in 8th grade, they moved her to, like, within a few months, they moved her to high school. Because obviously the middle school could not accommodate her advancement. And so she used to go up there for like 3/4 of the day and then come back for a couple classes with us. And then, which she was in my speech class, I remember that. And then we had another girl who was in my grade who graduated a semester early. And then like went off to Germany for some like high school boarding experience or something that was like a college thing, but it was in like Germany.
This guy's looking pretty cool.
I think it looks awesome. That's probably going to be one of my favorites.
So then I'll make the pink a little bit more pink. And then I need to do, like, obviously highlights on there because it looks awfully dark.
No, it looks badass right now. Like, I don't think... I mean, yeah, you need to add, like, your little details or whatever. But at the same time, I think it looks sweet. What do you guys think of her mini?
It's going pretty good.
Yeah, no, that's badass. So the dwarves. There's 1, 2, 3, 5 dwarves.
Wrap this up. It's 11 o'clock.
All right, 5 dwarves. Ancient blooded dwarf. Dwarven heroes of old could shrug off their enemies' magic, and some of that resistance manifests in you. You gain the call on ancient blood reaction. You attempt a saving throw against a magical effect, but you haven't rolled yet. Your ancestors' innate resistance to magic surges before slowly ebbing down. You gain a +1 circumstance bonus to the triggering saving throw and until the end of his turn. So that's kind of cool. Like I could see like role playing that in a cool way.
Mm-hmm.
Death Warden Dwarf. Your ancestors have been tomb guardians for generations, and the power they cultivated to ward off necromancy has passed on to you. If you roll a success on a saving throw against a necromancy effect, you get a critical success instead. Well, that's cool. I like that. Because we all know that freaking touch spell or whatever. What is it? The opposite of heal wounds? Inflict wounds or whatever? Is vicious. So that's cool. Forge Dwarf. You have a remarkable adaptation to hot environments from ancestors who inhabited blazing deserts or volcanic chambers beneath the earth. This grants you fire resistance equal to half your level. And you treat... minimum 1. And you treat environmental heat effects as if they were one step less extreme. Incredible heat becomes extreme heat becomes severe, and so on. Okay, they get 10 hit points, 20 speed, or wisdom. Ooh, strength is not one of their ability boosts. Ability flaws, charisma, and you get dark vision. Okay, Rock Dwarf. Your ancestors lived and worked among the great ancient stones of the mountains, or the depths of the earth. This makes you solid as a rock when you plant your feet. You gain a +2 circumstance bonus to your fortitude or reflex DC against attempts to shove or trip you. This bonus also applies to saving throws against spells or effects that attempt to knock you prone. In addition, if any effect would force you to move 10 feet or more, you are moved only half the distance. Strong-blooded dwarf. Your blood runs hearty and strong, and you can shake off toxins. You gain poison resistance equal to half your level, minimum 1, and each of your successful saving throws against poison affliction reduces its stage by 2. Sounds like it's basically the same as the heat thing. I don't like that. I don't care so much about the strong-blooded one or the forge one. I really like the ancient-blooded dwarf. I like the Death Warden dwarf. And I kind of like the rock one. So those 3 are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think. Feats of first level. Depending on what I would do, Dwarven Weapon Familiarity would be cool. Especially if you're a sorcerer, because as a sorcerer, you can infuse magical damage into your weapon to make it like an extra D8 of damage. So if you did like, I don't know, a battle axe and then made it 1d8 stronger for a hit, that would be kind of cool. But you don't have armor. That's the only thing that would kind of suck. Rock Runner. Your innate connection to stone makes you adept at moving across uneven surfaces. You can ignore difficult terrain caused by rubble and uneven ground made of stone and earth. In addition, when you use the acrobatic skill to balance on narrow surfaces or uneven ground made of stone or earth, you aren't flat-footed. And when you roll a success at one of these acrobatics checks, you get a critical success instead. I have no idea what you just said, Sudra. Not even going to try. Stone Cunning. You have a knack for noticing even small inconsistencies in craftsmanship. Techniques in the stonework around you. You gain a +2 circumstance bonus to perception checks to notice unusual stonework. This bonus applies to checks to discover mechanical traps made of stone or hidden within stone. If you aren't using the seek action or searching, the GM automatically rolls, blah, blah, blah. Unburdened Iron. You've learned techniques first devised by your ancestors during their ancient wars, allowing you to comfortably wear massive suits of armor. Ignore the reduction to your speed from any armor you wear. In addition, anytime you're taking a penalty to your speed from some other reason, such as from encumbered or from a spell, deduct 5 feet from the penalty. For example, the encumbered condition normally gives a -10-foot penalty to speed, but it gives you only a 5-foot penalty. If your speed is taking multiple penalties, pick only one penalty to reduce. That's kind of cool. Vengeful Hatred. Your heart aches for vengeance against those who have wronged your people. Choose one of the following dwarven ancestral foes when you gain Vengeful Hatred. Drow, Durgar, Giant, or Orc. You gain a +1 circumstance bonus to damage with weapons and unarmed attacks against creatures with that trait. See, unarmed attacks. Now you're better than a monk.
I'm so mad about it.
If your attack would deal more than one weapon die of damage, as is common at higher levels than first, the bonus is equal to the number of weapon dice or unarmed attack dice. In addition, if a creature critically succeeds at an attack against you and deals damage to you, you gain your bonus to damage against that creature for 1 minute, regardless of whether it has the chosen trait. If the creature critically succeeds at an attack against you and deals damage to you, you gain your bonus to damage against that creature, whether it has the chosen trait. Oh, so it could be a dragon rather than one of your chosen ones. And you're going to, if you've been hurt for 1 minute, you can do it back, it sounds like. Your GM can add appropriate creature traits to the Ancestral Foes list if your character is from a community that commonly fights other types of enemies. That's cool. So it's not necessarily restricting you to the ones it says. It's basically saying if your GM wants to allow something else. I kind of like that flexibility. So Sudra says, I think nobody understand me now. Hee hee. Probably. No, I dwarves are kind of cool. I kind of like a lot of those. Like, I could see myself making a few different types of dwarves. I was not excited about any of the elf stuff. Maybe I just don't click with elves.
You always like dwarves.
I know. Well, yeah, but I don't.
But you do.
I like mechanics for dwarves. I like the flavor of the write-ups and stuff like that for dwarves. I don't actually like a short, fat, beer-drinking, Scottish dwarf. Like the stereotype of the dwarf is not that exciting for me. I do find them easy to roleplay, though, also. That's the other thing. Because they're easy to roleplay, I like them more. I didn't discover I liked dwarves until 5 years ago. Before 2015 or whatever, when 5e came out and I played that cleric dwarf. No, I never wanted to play dwarves before that. Ever. In fact, I typically liked humans before that. That was like my go-to for almost anything. I liked things that I felt were a lot like me. You know? I wonder if there's a gnome I would like. There might be. We might have to talk about gnomes tomorrow. Sound good?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth it.
Can you make a German accent? No, I do not do good accents whatsoever. It is not even possible for me. I tried to do an accent in the game we played offline last night and found myself starting to copy another player and doing his voice. Kind of. Not good, though. And I don't like doing accents. I don't feel comfortable because I don't think I'm good at them. So, anyways, we are done. So I'm going to end the stream there. But again, thank you guys for watching. I had a lot of fun tonight.
As far as we got.
We did get pretty off track, but it was cool. I think it looks cool. What do you think of the miniature? Does it look good? Let me know. Comment in the chat. Tell us what you think. She's got to do the green flame tomorrow. What else?
I gotta do
golden
highlights.
Yeah, golden
I gotta do lowlights.
Yeah.
I gotta do accents.
Yeah, but that usually only takes you like an hour.
Yeah.
That's pretty quick.
And I gotta add shimmer for Cameron.
Yeah, shimmer for Cameron. And then we'll pick the next miniature, which might be the druid.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we should save the druid for your tutorial video.
I need a break from the Dragonborn, I think. That's
Yeah, I'm not trying. Maybe do the girl tomorrow.
We should do something easy like this.
Yeah, do the girl tomorrow. But I think the human druid with the antlers on his back, I think he should be for the tutorial. I think that would be a good tutorial piece because it's very dynamic in his pose. It's easy to get to everything, it looks like. Like, I feel like that would be a good tutorial piece, don't you?
Yeah.
You know, you're going to get a lot of different lows and highs, you know, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Maybe.
Thanks, Cameron. Yeah, Shimmer says he loves it. It's been fun. Yeah, I had fun too, guys. So, once again, thank you. Hit that like if you haven't hit like yet. I see there's 5 of you, and we only have 4 likes right now. So, make sure you do that. And we'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully, at about the same time. Game on, guys.